Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Bwtm Sports in association with Round for Round Boxing, the new game in development for boxing fans around the world, Xbox, PC, and also PlayStation 4. www.roundforroundboxing.com. Now, you know that we've done this 3 times in a row. This is the third time. We're doing different this time round. So to avoid the first 2 times of my system completely crashing on me, third time round now we got it and we're in. Shout out to Three Kings Boxing, all your latest boxing news. Check out Three Kings Boxing, global boxing news, breaking boxing news, www.threekingsboxing.com. So in a moment, we're going to be having Mr. Sporting Icons in the room. It's interesting, the first two goes of this, we've had him in the room and the system crashed. This time he wasn't in the room at the start, and this time I'm going to invite him in the room now. I think I sent him the email, so I started beforehand. So we'll see how that works this time around. I sent him the email, or did I? Maybe I didn't send him the email. Let's go in here now. I did send him an email. So we'll just do it again, and we'll invite him to the room this way around. So don't ask me why. I was unable to get the I was unable to do the 2 shows with Sporting Icons before, but we're going to have it now. The conspiracy theorists out there, they would probably think all other things. So I'm just thinking it's the time of night and it's Windows doing its typical updates. So anyway, we'll send him the link again. I did send the link already via my YouTube channel, but we'll go again. This time of night, it's notoriously slow. I don't know why. Yeah, people, smash the like button as we wait for Mr. Did you get a good nap? You look refreshed. Yeah, I did get a good sleep, actually. Well, it's waiting for me to load the Gmail page. I don't know why it's taking so long to load up, but it is. Obviously, somebody doesn't want me to interview Sporting Icons. I don't know who it is. Somebody doesn't want me interviewing Sporting Icons. System crashed twice. And now this. Now I can't get into my emails. It does tell you something, doesn't it? So how are you all doing anyway? Hope you all are well. It's good that we're going to do this crossover show anyway. Will not let me send the email for whatever. The email will not pop up. I don't know why. Don't ask me why. Let's try it this way then. I'd invite him that way for you. Email, but for some reason I don't know why it won't go through my Gmail. Oh, here we go now. Finally, I don't know what is going on there. Right, so we've sent him the link. So for the third time we've sent a link. This time I'm in the room already. I'm talking to you guys, and we're just waiting for Mr. Sporting Icons to make his appearance. Yes, Kara, good to see you in the room, my friend. Are we on? Are we on? Yes, we're on. Sporting Icons as Windows 95, LOL. Everything good. Carnival settings. I feel mashup, LOL. Yeah, well, there's no carnival. There's a carnival here tomorrow down by the sea, but The weather's terrible, man. So not mash up anyway, but it's okay. Just waiting for Mr. Sporting Icons to make his grand entrance. The king of crossovers is back yet again. We just wait for Mr. Icon. He's in the room now.
Hello.
There.
I'm here.
Finally. I think the matchroom matchroom conspiracy can begin because two crashes might be Windows, might be matchroom, might be a coincidence.
Let's just play a Matchroom. It's easier. Everyone else does. Why not?
Yes, absolutely. So, okay, welcome to the room, Mr. Sporting Icons. Those people who don't know, Sporting Icons has his own YouTube channel. When you get a chance, get over to that channel, hit the subscribe button. Okay, the aim of this crossover show, Mr. King of Crossovers, the aim of this is really to get to know the man behind the channel. And yeah, so for everybody who doesn't know who you are, just give people a brief overview as to what you're about, Sporting Icons.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Well, first of all, let me say well done on your round for round. And of course, a couple of weeks ago, hitting your 5K. So excellent stuff.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Okay, so about me. So what? I started my channel 18 months ago, and the original one was because it's either football or boxing. So many football channels out there. I thought, well, you know what, boxing might be a little bit easier to get a few people to listen in. And the whole idea of it was to raise awareness for Duchenne charity because of my son. So that's why I started it. And after the first couple of months, I said, you know what, it'd be nice just to get to 1,000 subscribers. And luckily enough, at that point, Dillian White came in, and because I literally knew nobody, and lucky enough, Dillian White gave me a bit of a bunk up. So it's pretty much took off from then. I am biased, no doubt, but I'm biased British, and as you all know, a lot of that is because of the crossover of football. So I'm a Newcastle United fan, so all other teams are my enemy. When we're like World Cup and European, all other countries are the enemy. And maybe that's why I'm biased with the UK fighters, because I transitioned that into boxing. Maybe. But no, I'm not matchroom biased like people think I am.
Okay, so how long you said you had your channel? What, 8 months, did you say?
18 months.
18 months, okay, corrected. What was the first boxing bout that you saw, 14?
Oh, God. I was a kid, and my stepfather, he got the Frank Bruno Mike Tyson fight.
Which one, first or second?
I think it was the second one because I remember staying up till early in the morning, real tired, and it lasted only like a couple of rounds, and I went to bed so disappointed. So that's like my earliest memory of boxing.
Wow. Yeah, there's no way he's going to beat me. No way.
Yeah.
No way. No.
Bruno, Bruno.
No. Yeah, it was, I think it was 1995 or 995? I couldn't remember. I remember the commercial quite well. It was very, very iconic. The commercial Sky. That's when Sky was at, for me, it was the peak of its powers at that time. You had Harry Newman, Gary Mason in the studio.
R.I.P. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You had some really iconic figures in that studio. Ian Dark, Glenn McCrory, you had a great boxing brains in there, unbiased, told it like it was. Nicky Piper, who remembers Nicky Piper? He just disappeared off the scene. Nicky Piper, my God, it was a great show.
Yeah.
So and that was when boxing, for me, in the UK, in terms of commentary, what is very best, and it's been on a slippery slide since.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's ever recovered commentary wise and production wise. It hasn't recovered. I think it's on a slippery slide. But when you think about the class guys you had then, who was hosting the show and where it was going and what it did, it gave you every week there was a global show on. You saw fights in America, Japan, the UK, and it was very good, very, very good. There wasn't it wasn't commentating on your fights. It really was, straight down the line commentary. And of course, Ian Duck was a master in commentary. and the commentary box with Glenn McCrory. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, for me, I mean, I don't remember too much about Sky, but for
Hmm.
me, I kind of like remember like the ITV shows,
Okay.
like some of those ones. I
Big
mean,
Fight Live.
yeah, I mean, I think one of the very first times that I actually watched a boxer who I'd never heard of prior to watching it, but my dad used to always rave about him, but I'd never seen him fight, and that was actually Barry McGuigan's final fight, and I watched that live.
Oh yes, of course, I remember that fight. I remember watching Barry McGuigan fight Jim McDonald, the trainer of
Yeah.
Dave James DeGale. So yeah, I remember watching him. I remember him fighting Azuma Nelson.
Mm.
Azuma Nelson, if you go back and watch that fight, Azuma Nelson hit him with a left that fifth round, and that left hook I heard on um actually watching the fight live. I heard the left hook so hard they even heard the left hook at the back of the arena. That's so hard.
Damn.
Nelson, my God, it was. So what's been your favorite fight for you?
Oh, that's a tough one. There's been so many. Emotionally, Bruno versus McCall.
Hmm.
Um,
Okay.
but just for pure entertainment, I mean, I'm kind of like old school where I don't know, maybe a bit sick. I like the gladiator style, blood and guts. So probably Lennox Lewis, Vitaly Klitschko has probably got to be up there.
Okay. I thought you were going to give me Gatti Ward, but Lewis, yeah, that's great. It's a great backstory to that. Lewis was there to fight Kurt Johnson. He hadn't prepared for the fight. You know,
Yeah,
vastly out of shape. And he said, Kurt Johnson pulled out, and he said, "All right, who's next on the list? Klitschko's. Give me that Klitschko over there." He picked the wrong Klitschko and decided to pick Vitaly Klitschko, and
yeah,
a great fight out of that. So
it's a great fight.
let's talk a bit more. Let's talk about as a YouTuber,
Hmm.
what is your angle? What is your agenda? What is your thoughts? Or what, when you upload or when you do your live shows, are you aware of your bias? I know you mentioned it up front. Are you aware of your bias? Do you go with the intention to be biased or just by the by?
Um, well, each and every one, I'm always telling the truth. But at the same time, there is an element of me. It's a way to create the chat
Yeah.
in the comment section. So I don't know, it kind of gets people to talk with each other, debate each other. Sometimes it goes a little bit too far. So, but bias, yeah. I mean, I set out to be biased in a sense of it was always going to be UK fighters. It's not because it's Eddie Hearn. I mean, we'll get onto the whole Eddie Hearn versus Frank Warren and Cyclone Promotions, etc. in a bit. But for me, it's always about what interests me. So, for example, I'm not really too interested in the lower weight classes too much, but I am keeping an eye on Moonsri purely because he's getting the record on Tuesday potentially. So, yeah, I mean, bias certainly, and I do talk more about British fighters because I think my subs, or at least so far, resonate more because I talk about what's going on here rather than abroad. Because I've tried talking about the likes of Broner and Errol Spence and things like that, and to be honest, I think the only people who are really interested in that, for the most part, are Americans. But as soon as they hear a British accent, they tend to like turn off. So I tend to not talk about that too much.
Ironically, maybe it is because BWTM is based in the States.
Hmm.
I don't know, but I seem to have more support from the States than I do the UK.
Well,
So
again, you
work that
see,
one out.
I suppose a lot of that is down to the fact that, I mean, when Kell Brook, he fought Triple G, and after then he was talking about maybe fighting Amir Khan,
Hmm.
and it was me and Chatterboxing Sean. I don't know whether you know him, but
Yes.
us two were really, really pushing Kell to fight Errol Spence. And I didn't want the Amir Khan fight. I felt it went a sell by day, and I thought it's been dragging on for too much. And I wanted him to defend his title. So maybe a lot of it comes from the fact that because I was pushing Kell Brook, 'cause I'm very pro Kell Brook, and you know, I was kind of like jumping on the whole winding up Americans about Errol Spence. He's nothing more than a glorified sparring partner, and maybe people just remember that kind of thing. So maybe I don't know, maybe they just don't like me from that moment on. Maybe.
So do you do it with tongue in cheek or do you do it with real intention?
always tongue in cheek. I'm never ever serious. The only time that I've really kind of got serious isn't really about the Americans because you see, for me, when I get kind of like passionate or angry, I mean, I've done plenty of rage videos about Huey Fury when he first pulled out of the Joseph Parker fight. I felt that he did that on purpose, and I raged about it. And I did it with David Hay on plenty of occasions as well. Now, bearing in mind, I do it because I expect more. And it's the same situation with Wilder. You see, people think that I'm a Wilder hater, but for so long now, I've been watching him ever since I first seen him fight Audley Harrison. You'll probably remember that fight.
I know it
And
very, very well.
yeah, and that was like my first introduction to Deontay Wilder. And I thought, this man is a beast. He could go on and conquer the world. He's absolutely deadly. But I've been waiting for him to step up, and it's almost like his competition level hasn't peaked. And it's, to be honest, it's been pissing me off a little bit. And I could kind of give him a pass to a point, but unfortunately, when you get him saying that Joshua's done nothing, I kind of look at his record and I throw it back at him. For me, I just see it as two-faced. So it's never about Wilder. I know many people think that I don't like Wilder, but I do like Wilder. I respect him. He got into boxing because of his daughter with spina bifida. I have the same kind of thing with my son, so I can resonate with him for that. But it's just that I don't like it when somebody gets to 40 fights and then criticizes one who's done 21 fights. And for me, he's done more. So people think that I'm hating on Wilder. It's not the person, it's the record and the two-facedness that I don't like.
Okay, fair enough. Everyone's entitled to their opinion and their thought process, and people look at resumes, and well, you know what? It's always up for debate. Some would say, well, Joshua never fought Ortiz, and
Mm-hmm.
I'll say that Wilder never fought Klitschko.
Mm-hmm.
It's a one half and doesn't the other. The fact of the matter is now we've got Wilder who's going to fight, should be fighting Tyson Fury.
Mm-hmm.
If you listen to certain other experts, they'll tell you that that fight's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Wait and see. I think the proof in the pudding is Frank Warren saying the date is and two guys are going to fight. We look forward to that. I, yeah. But other than that, I think everyone's entitled to opinion. Everyone should have a right and opinion to say what they've got to say.
Mm-hmm.
You do get on Twitter people who, because Twitter or Facebook or social media, but because you make a few statements and you show your face on camera or you do videos, they ultimately think that they know who you are. So they make blanket statements like, you hate Deontay Wilder. Well, hold on a second. How can you say I hate somebody? You've never met me face to face to know if I've got a bone in my body or a thought process in my body that actually carries the thought of hate.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's amazing how these people can come and make these blanket statements and put you in boxes. And I struggle with it. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I get messages and get copied in on tweets, and I mean, I wouldn't mind, but it's almost like these people go out of their way to find you because we're not following each other on social media. So they must have come to my page just to hate because clearly they've tried to do it in. I mean, I don't know about you, but for me, I have certain filters on my YouTube. So certain words, if you say it within that sentence, the whole comment gets put into a spam, and then you can release it or delete it, can't you?
Yes.
So I have that for quite a few words, and some of the content that people say is absolutely slanderous. It's terrible. I mean, I can never take it so serious that I would hate somebody for their opinion on a boxing matter. There's nothing wrong with having a different of opinion. I mean, you're not going to agree with me. I'm not going to agree with you on everything, but we move on. I'm not going to say, BWTM, you don't know what you're talking about. You're a casual. You're on the Frank Warren or PBC payroll. For me, I wouldn't do that. But there's so many people out there because you have a difference of opinion to them. You must be on the payroll, or you're a hater, or, I mean, I've been called so much stuff. I mean, because of my son with Duchenne, people have attacked him
Oh, sorry
as
to hear
such.
that.
You see, and I mean, for me, boxing fans, and I've said it so many times, and I know people get a little bit offended when I say it, but boxing fans are the best in the world, but they're also the damn worst in the world.
Absolutely agree with you there. I find them the most ungrateful, the most narrow-minded, the most, at times, the most uneducated, the most illogical, the most. But then again, I find them the most passionate,
Yeah,
the most supportive, the most beautiful, the most articulate. It just depends.
yeah,
It depends. You know, boxing fans can make you feel great, and it can make you feel shit. So I take the sting out of both, and I just stay down the middle. But I've been doing this almost 10 years now, so I guess not just boxing generally, and you just have to, put filters on for the spam and the nasty comments, put a filter on that as you've done, and you don't give the trolls any sort of they don't you don't make trolls famous. So I don't. They're quite famous. So, let's talk a little further. We talked about Matchroom and Frank Warren, and you're on the payroll. Are you on the payroll?
no. I mean, that's a simple answer, but you know what? People will expect me to say no, even if I was, right?
Oh
But
no, not really, because it depends.
well,
It depends how you say no. I mean, if you were on the payroll, I'd like to know how much you're getting paid and whether it's worth me jacking all I'm doing now.
yeah. Well, put it this way, if I was on the payroll, I think I'd probably have a hell of a lot more subs than what I do, and I'll probably be a lot more biased than what I am. I mean, if I was on the payroll, I think people would really be able to know that I was because I'd be unrelenting. But truth is, I mean, no. I mean, even if he offered me, I'd say no. In all honesty,
Why?
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 Because I don't want to be put into a box where if he does something that I don't like, that I can't criticize it. That's not my way. And I have criticized him on plenty of occasions, and people don't really see those ones. They only remember some ones where I've defended something that they don't agree with.
Yeah, yeah. People, I said boxing fans can be the most narrow-minded at times. Look, I've done videos where I've actually praised a Matchroom show. I've actually interviewed fighters that have been on Matchroom.
Mhm.
Jake Ball, one of them, when
Yeah, I know
the
him. Yeah,
day before he signed with Matchroom, I interviewed Jake Paul. I mean, there are other Matchroom fighters that I've interviewed previously. It's not, I don't hate Matchroom, I don't hate Eddie Byrne, or I don't hate Frank Warren, but this sort of stupidity. I hate people. Look, there's some people you get in with better than others. I don't hate people. I don't turn up to press conferences because I don't like press conferences. Me personally, I think that me personally, I don't like I don't like what press conferences have become. I mean, for example, a press conferences where the press asks questions
yeah,
and articulate questions to find out about fighters.
yeah,
A situation where, for me personally, people get free tickets to turn up to fights. That's what it looks like to me. Press conferences, how often do you get articulate questions? More than three articulate questions that come out of a press conference. Most times, the same people sitting back saying nothing, unless it's a huge fight where you've got American crossover or superstars in the country. Then you may get a few questions. But the general press conference, not many people talk. But then afterwards, they all seem to find their questions for their individual outlet, whether it be whichever outlet in. All suddenly, all these questions come out. Why? Why? Because you're trying to save it for views on your channel. It's a question is a question. So
yeah.
I don't generally like press conferences. It's not my thing. Other people do like it. And I've seen people get treated terribly when they go to press conferences. People who put hard work in, and then when it comes to big fights, they get pushed to one side, and the people who don't do much get the seats. So I'm not a big fan of the press conferences. Never have been. I don't think I ever will be. Not in boxing anyway. Your thoughts?
I can totally agree with you on a lot of that. Um, I mean, I've been to a couple before, and I know that. Listen, it's a business for them, and I fully understand that. But thing is, I mean, for like Sky Sports or IFL TV and other ones, they get like preferential treatment, if you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean. And for
Mm-hmm.
me, I understand why, but I don't know. For me, I would probably, if I was in their situation, I'm more likely to give a little bit of time to the up and coming channels, the ones who maybe don't get views so much, in order to get them subscribers, in order to make them a bit more popular.
Me personally, me personally, there may be people in the future from BWTM may want to go to these press conferences. But personally, I boycott press conferences. I don't see the point. I've just found it. clicks and what are you doing? I'm this person. I'm from this outlet. I'm from that outlet. And I'm just not interested in it. I'm not interested the two-facedness, the backstabbing. I'm not interested in any of that stuff. I'm just interested in doing what I do and bringing it to the fans, and that's it. So at the end of the boxing fans, and to me, it's not about me and my personality and what I'm doing. It's about producing.
Boxing.
But yeah, for boxing, it's about people bringing the world closer to you. So
Mhm.
you know, to do live shows, we're having big names on there, whether it be Butterbean, Joseph Parker, Evander Holyfield. You know, to bring them and so fans can sit down and listen to their favorite boxers and be able to have that interaction. For me, I think fans appreciate that, and those who are part of BWTM and subscribed and tune in, they get to hear live stories in the front room without having to turn to press conferences and listen to uh, angled questions and selling promotion rather just find out the truth. That's the way I see it.
I fully understand what you're saying because I am of the similar kind of thinking. Because for me, I would rather. I mean, I've interviewed Dillian White on numerous occasions, and
Mm-hmm.
I've never once done it face to face, and I don't feel the need to. For me, I'd rather that people come to my channel and listen to our chat live if needs be, or
Yeah.
if I can't go live, for example, then I'll record it and then upload it later on. But for me, a phone call, it's non-intrusive for a
Mm-hmm.
hangout is non-intrusive, so I don't have to go out of my way. They don't have to stop their press conference or put somebody else on hold to chat to me. You know, it's literally in my time, their time. So that's why I can. Um, I'm always going to be biased with Dillian because he did this with me in like the very beginning. But I mean, I don't have too many contacts. I have a few that I haven't spoken to on the channel yet, and I do feel bad about it. But I mean, you know yourself, life is time consuming. It really
Mm.
is. But yeah, for me, I would rather not go to the press conferences. But again, I mean, if we can switch back to me being on the Matchroom payroll, as people like to say,
Yeah.
if I was, I mean, how many times have I had Eddie Hearn on the phone doing like a live chat? It's never happened. I've never had Anthony Joshua. It's just never happened. If I was, surely I would have at least had one of them.
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, you know, people have this logic about matchroom and this and that. You know, I personally, I don't talk too much about it because I get sick of it because it's almost sickening almost talking about it because people have these ideas and I don't know where they get some of these ideas from. They actually believe it. They believe their own hype. So I
Mm.
don't I don't pay much attention to it. Um, let's talk about. Is there anything in particular you wanted to talk about before I go on?
No, I did a video a little while ago. Where I kind of tried to explain maybe why I come across as biased to Matchroom, and I was
Mhm.
trying to do like comparing the differences for what Eddie Hearn does to Frank Warren, etc. And I'm a little bitter with Frank Warren, not as a
Okay.
person. It's because for so long there's like a big rivalry between him and Barry Hearn, and that was interesting. I enjoyed that. And when Barry kind of like went out the picture, Frank took over. And he was putting on some excellent content, absolutely fantastic. Again, we can go back to like the Bruno and Joe Calzaghe and things like that. But once he hit the top and he had no competition, I don't want to be rude about it, but he got damn well lazy, and the
Mhm.
content dropped. It fell through the floor, and now he comes across as bitter. And I'll probably say what 3 or 4 times out of 10, his shows cancel. The main event crashes, and I'm kind of like sick of it. And he's not giving me the content that I want to see. If he did, then I would be talking a lot more about his events. Because for me, whenever he announces an event, what's the first thing he says? It's a good little show. I don't want to hear it's a good little show. I want to hear it's a damn well great show. Like you've done your best for this show. So I don't want to be hearing about no, it's a great little show. I don't want to be hearing about the main events being cancelled. And for me, it's almost like I don't want to waste my time on it in case it doesn't happen. I don't know whether that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, we know we had the Klitschko versus Fury 2. We had all the talk beforehand. We had them sit down talking to one another. The fight never happened. So the fact Fury and Wilder sitting down talking with one another, doesn't mean a fight's going to happen.
No.
I'm concerned about it. So, I know Warren's had fights cancelled, but he's also put on some damn good shows as well. I've
Mhm.
seen a lot of those shows, and I've seen a lot of 50-50. I've seen a lot of competitive fights.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I get you. I understand that. I do understand it. Think, think as a fan, you just want to see fights, and there's nothing worse than leading up to seeing a good fight or looking forward to seeing a good fight. You've put all the content preparing for that fight. You get your lips licking for that fight, and then you just find that it's been cancelled. And it's the thing is, if it was one fight, like one show that got cancelled in a year, it wouldn't
Yeah.
be too bad. But if it's 2, 3 bloody shows getting cancelled in that same year, that could piss fight fans off. I can understand that, especially those who are reporting. You say, well, hold on, I've just been hyping up this fight. Look at if you spent all that time built hyping up the Billy Joe Saunders versus what's his name
Well,
versus Martin Murray.
yeah.
Imagine you spend time hyping that up, and breakdowns to the fight and everything. You
Yeah.
did that for the 2 shows. Both shows, it never happened. When you could be doing maybe a Maxim show, that did happen.
Exactly.
So I can understand why you'd be frustrated with that. But personal opinion, I can't. I can only speak from how I've been treated. But I found when I've been at Frank's show, personally, when I've gone to Frank, and I did do quite before. I did a lot of work with Frank, and I found him a nice enough guy. Got access, did what I had to do. I had any problems with Frank. I had that personal conversation with Frank, and how you doing? How's life? I had a conversation with Frank, and I've
Mm.
been to shows, and I don't feel the same way. That's just I've never felt the same way. And it's not hating. It's just like the situation with yourself and Dillian White. Now, with
Mm.
Dillian White, I know that you said you've got a good relationship with Dillian, and people are, well, that's kissing ass. It's not kissing ass. It's just having a good relationship with somebody. If somebody is giving you that time of day to help you build your channel, of course you can have that affinity with that person.
Mhm.
I've done interviews with Tyson and Peter Fury, and so they say, "Oh yeah, well, of course you'd think that about Peter because you're in bed with Peter." Because no, you've got a good relationship and you're looking after people. Because I have a good relationship, so I should shit on that relationship because you want a bit of entertainment. I should shit in that relationship and be disrespectful because
No.
you want something in the comment section. No, I'm not going to ruin my integrity or the integrity of BWTM just for you. You face this character doesn't care one way or the other whether we succeed or not. So yeah,
Well, I mean, a lot of content, or so a lot of comments that I get based around this, it's a case of you should be more professional because your channel is like hit so and so. But for me, I don't feel like it's hit anything. But
mm,
you see, they say I should be professional, but my answer is always, okay, fine, pay me. Because why should I be professional when I'm not paid? You understand what I'm saying? So,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
this isn't a business for me. This is a hobby. So, you know, um, if it was to ever happen and I was to hit 100K, it's probably never going to happen. But if I did and I got some sponsorship from it, I'm going to have to be a bit more professional about it and actually take it serious. But I can't be professional unless I have a reason to be. Like, I mean, if I was to, I did a video a couple of weeks ago. No, sorry, it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't. It was about a week ago, and I tried to look at certain things from a Deontay Wilder kind of like point of view, rather than me just ripping him. Okay, and I kind of said that Wilder, he looked like a little bit sheepish getting in the ring with Tyson, and he did. And I said, well, maybe he'd done that because of the performance of Tyson isn't going to sell too well. It isn't going to make people go, wow, Tyson's ready. This fight is legitimate. People are still going to say this is a mismatch. And he looked like a little bit down about it. And because I said that kind of thing, rather than berate him, I'm being a Wilder fanboy. I'm like, but that's not usually what I'm called.
You can't. Some people you can't win with. You cannot win with some people. As long as you know what you're at. I'm telling you now. I've said this before. I do worry for a lot of people, and this is an area where mental health. You can develop some mental health issues on YouTube. With depression and people you know, being lots of hatred and nasty words being spoken. That's enough to send anyone spiral and out of control at times. If you're not strong in character, people can be very disrespectful, very, very disrespectful. And it can be very, you can suffer from burnout on here. It's so much. I've seen people on this channel come and go. I mean, like they set up the channels and I've got a couple of hundred views, I've got a couple of thousand subscribers, and then I've got people that compare in the channels. The legacy, 10 years, last 19 years, there's a lot of fire you have to come through, a lot of fire.
Yeah.
Into the room for either myself or Sporting Icons, please. This is what you wanted. This is the crossover you wanted. Make it happen. Let's talk. Sporting. Anything else you want to talk about there?
No, I think, I mean, for me, you're covering about, longevity, and because like people don't realize that sometimes certain things that you say can trigger something. So it is generally going to piss you off.
Mm.
But really, I mean, nowadays I try to look at it, unless they're like regular commenters, then I
Mm.
kind of look at their hate as it's just words, and this person will just get blocked. And I don't like blocking people, but I feel like I have to for my own sanity sometimes, because I'm going to spend too much time arguing with them rather than me replying and responding to people who do actually enjoy my content. So, I
I
mean,
actually block. I block a lot of people. I block them. I don't business. I block them. I don't want them on my channel. And they're
yeah,
customers I don't want, so I get rid of. I block. I go on their channel and I block them. And it's quite funny. You catch certain people out. People who've got multiple channels or multiple accounts. They come on and they get smart and they come on the channel and then they they insult you on the channel, say stupid things, and they use multiple channels. So when you block them on one, they come back and say, "Oh, Ingram, I tried to get on the channel the other day and I couldn't get on, and I can't leave a comment." Hmm. I wonder why that is.
yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't know about you, but for me, I only ever block if they try to attack me personally. I mean, if they have an opinion on boxing and it's different to mine, crack on. But if you berate me or leave something racial or sexual or whatever the hell it may be, then you're getting blocked straight away. And
Yeah.
then I kind of like to see some of these people on other people's channels in the comment section saying, "Oh, Sporting Icons, he's a dick. He blocked me. All I tried to do was have a conversation." I'm like, no, you didn't. I wouldn't have blocked you if you just tried to have a conversation. That's not my way.
Yeah, absolutely. That happens. And no, I block them, and I have. I'm not remorseful. I block them. I don't think twice of it because for them to sit down, take the time to leave a comment like that, and not consider me, well, I don't consider them, so they get blocked straight up. Um, and I block people for two reasons: that and just being annoying. Just every time I do a show, they've just got something negative to say. They've always got some. They're always trying to argue with you, and sometimes you just want to get on your chat and just have a decent conversation with people. You just haven't got time to be arguing with people. So what
Yeah,
I do, I just block them. I actually block them. And now sometimes I call people and I tell people to spanner up, and then when the calls come in the room, they just start spannering up and chant and you know
yeah,
in the room, and which is fine, which is good. Nightbot does it's good. Well, Ingram's a troll sniper. He don't mess about, of course. Don't mess around. So um, top three heavies in the world, fellas. Do your best. So okay, go ahead. Sport. Who's the top three heavyweights in the world?
currently, Joshua number one, and
Okay.
I'm being truthful with this one. Joshua number one. I'd love to say Dillian White, and if these guys do fight, and I know it's going to surprise a lot of people because I'm a Joshua fanboy, but I actually want White to beat him.
Okay.
Um, but in reality, I think Joshua number one, White number two, Wilder number three.
The Tyson Fury doesn't come into your equation.
Not right now. If this was
Why?
Tyson Fury around the Chisora rematch and Christian Hammer, Vladimir Klitschko, I'll probably have to have him as number one, to be honest. I think
Okay.
inactivity,
Where does Luis Ortiz fit into that mix? Where does Brian Jennings fit into that mix? And where does Huey Fury fit into that mix?
they don't. I mean, for me, uh, Luis Ortiz, I like him. I've been a fan of his for quite some time. But again, it's like a similar kind of thing. He has his reputation of being the boogeyman, the avoided, and all this kind of thing. And but Tyson Fury started that. He did. And but again, if you look at who it is that he's beaten, nobody really stands out for me. Bryant Jennings, potentially a end of the road Tony Thompson. Um, he went the distance with Malik Scott. He couldn't cut him off. He struggled with Dave Allen at times. I'm not saying that he was in trouble with Dave Allen, but at that kind of stage for Dave Allen, Luis Ortiz should have walked through him. At the same time, Dave is tough, and Dillian White did struggle at times with him also. But no, I don't think he's quite up there. I think there's all three of those that I've mentioned beat Luis Ortiz
So you
9 out
think
of 10
Dylan
times.
White, you think Dylan White beats Lewis Ortiz?
My personal opinion, yes,
You think
I
Anthony
do.
Joshua beats Lewis Ortiz?
I do.
Okay, and who's
And I
the other
think Wilder
heavyweight?
beats him in a rematch. And Deontay Wilder.
Okay, all right. And you believe that Celine, you believe that Wilder would get beat by Joshua? I assume.
Yes.
Why?
I think that Joshua is too calm. I've noticed with a lot of Wilder's opponents, I mean, they do well and they win. All right. For me, Wilder is a unanimous decision loss waiting to happen. He is because he relies on the right hand too much. Again, I could maybe be a little bit two-faced with it, saying he relies on it, but it's worked out for him so far. But the fact is, for me, I think that Anthony Joshua is just too patient for him, and he's an excellent counterpuncher. For me, I mean, if Wilder was to connect, it's good night. In all truth, but
Mhm.
to be brutally honest, I think that Dillian White beats Deontay Wilder easier than Joshua beats Wilder. And that's my
Why?
honest opinion. That's not my biased opinion. I think that Dillian, he's improving a lot per fight. Wilder has just stagnated. He impressed me a lot with Luis Ortiz, and he showed me something in that fight that I didn't think he had. I honestly thought that Wilder was chinny, and once he gets hit properly, and a predator was to jump on him, Wilder will be out of there. And the way that he didn't take a knee, he didn't go down, he didn't quit, showed me immense, immense heart. But had Luis Ortiz started chopping away at the body, it'd have been over. And that's what Dillian White does best. That's why he's a body snatcher. And when I had Dillian on the channel right before the Parker fight, he was talking about that. He's saying that I don't understand how Luis Ortiz had that, and he kept trying to headhunt. If that had been me, I'd have been cracking his ribs, and he'd have been over.
Yeah. Okay. Um.
And also
All right.
Dillian, also Dillian isn't afraid. I mean, you know Dillian, he's not afraid to get in the ring with anybody. I know people say
Yeah.
he ducked Luis Ortiz. He ain't ducking Luis Ortiz at all.
What do you make of this talk of Joshua White too?
Um,
Chisora White too?
Chisora, what? I'm not interested to be honest. I'm not really bothered by it. I know it was a very good fight first time round and very very close, and I did have Dillian winning it by a round or two. But you know what? There are some swing rounds. So people who say that Derek Chisora won, I don't argue too much because I can kind of see where they're coming from because there were a couple of swing rounds. But I think if this fight happened again, I think it'd be a mismatch. I think Dillian White would walk through him.
Okay. Okay. Um. I know that you. I'll mention it. Things at the LDBC. I know there was something going on between. I think I saw bits of it, bits and bobs. What was it? What was it over the Wilder and Joshua thing?
Me and Elder, I've never had a problem because for me there was there's so many channels like 78, and we've always got on quite well. I've always been
Yeah.
respectful to them. They've always been respectful to me. I've never hated on them as such. I don't agree with their hating on Joshua, and they don't agree with me hating on Wilder. That's where we clash. Outside of Joshua Wilder, we're perfectly fine. There's no issues with us whatsoever. But there were a couple of channels. I don't really like. I want to be saying the names on like your channel,
Of
but
course.
they were. Um, I'm noticing that we're always kind of getting on well, and I'm being respectful for them. But they keep mentioning my name over and over and over in like negative ways. I'm just I'm a young boy sat at home with his mum on his mum's tit and all this kind of thing. And I'm thinking, where's all this coming from? Because now you're getting personal. And then eventually I
Right.
just snapped and I had to go back at this one channel only. And to be honest, I did go over the top. I did go a little bit too far potentially. But this was a build up for probably about 2 months solid of this a channel keep on digging at me over and over again. And he's a long standing, very, very popular channel. So I did one response and then I got really annoyed because the very next day, I'm not joking with you, 10 channels from the LDBC did a hangout on 78's channel, all chastising me because I dared to respond to this one channel. I was like, how petty.
Okay. Yeah. It's, well, um, what can I say about that? It is a society that we're in at times. I think at the end of the day, people are entitled to have an opinion. But I've seen people. I've known people to have uh, comments and opinions, and I know downright that their channels are on the border of being racist, and
Hmm.
you know, and you know, best thing you can do in a situation like that is not engage and just block their asses. That's the best response. Block them. Don't get involved.
No, no, I agree. I
You
agree,
know,
but I mean,
you get
unfortunately,
respond. You don't.
I'm saying, I mean, unfortunately, I mean, I've ignored many channels. There's been plenty of channels that call me out and insult me and everything, and I do ignore them. I'm sure that you know you've had it too. But the thing is, it's like you know, I don't like to engage in the whole channel versus channel beef because then people start taking it serious, and then their subscribers come over to me and troll me, and then my subscribers go over and troll them, and it gets blown out of proportion over an opinion for boxing. It's pathetic. Um, but unfortunately, there's a lot of channels who are old school where I'm seeing it, where they will create a beef in order to attain subscribers, if that makes sense. And that's the unfortunate thing. That's not something that I've ever done. I've only ever ripped into one channel, and that was when I very first started. And that channel is no longer in existence anymore. I don't know what happened to him, but he started getting personal with me, so I just responded with one video. Now, I have noticed, and again with the LDBC, ever since this one channel, like this big popular channel, started having pops at me, several channels are doing it now. And I mean, I try not to watch them too much because I'm going to end up. It's like kind of our old school. If you insult me, I'm going to do it back. Even though I'm very patient, I'm very relaxed, and if your opinion is your opinion. But for me, I mean, if you do something on your channel right here and I don't agree with it, I'm not going to go make a video saying I disagree with Bwtm and this is why, and he's got his information wrong, and blah 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 blah. I would never do that. At worst case scenario, I may just drop a comment on your video and say, actually, I think you're wrong on this one. But you know, these other channels will come out and make an entire hour hangout saying how I'm wrong for an opinion, but yet they don't provide any facts saying how I'm wrong.
Yeah, I think I personally just stay on, do your channel, do your thing, keep working, and let your success in what you do be be your focus.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, people at the end of the day, it's virtual reality.
Hmm.
You're going to always have people that are hating you and have comments. Look, I've had people that I've actually met in the flesh turn around and try and talk derogatory things. But for me, as far as I'm concerned, when I'm talking about this, it's about focusing on what you're doing, being the best that you possibly can be. You've got
Yeah.
someone that will support you, and they'll see they'll see your work, what you're about. You sell
Hmm.
more by the standard of your work and the passion you show for what you do. In that, the energy you're using to shout down another channel, and subscribers are, it's great to have subscribers and it's great to have viewership, but ultimately we can take that a bit too seriously.
Hmm.
You know your family, you know the people that love you and care for you. That has to be your focus. And then do what you're doing, your passion, do that and focus on that. people will come, people will have a pop.
Mm.
The two guys that try to have a pop. Um, and you know what? Karma is an amazing thing in this world. I've seen people come, I've seen people go. I've seen people start real fast. Um, I've seen them fall by the wayside. I've seen people say, "Oh, why can't you be like this person? Why can't you be like that person? Why can't you do this?" No, why can't I just be what we're doing? This is Bwtm. And for me, I've got enough in the tank now to believe we're on the right track to doing our own thing. The latest one now is why don't you join Sky? Why don't you become a broadcaster? No, why don't I want to? Why do I want to? You know, why do I want to do that? I want to do what I'm doing and build for my own. So,
Yeah.
so my friend, I'm sorry you've had to have that situation. Um, Being biased and having opinions that are strong, you're going to get people that that are going to have strong views against you. It happens. Um, but biting back is what they want.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. I mean, one of them even did an entire live hangout, and I don't know how he managed to keep his subs after, where he just did an entire hangout on me saying I must be weird because I don't put my face on camera. That's what his entire hangout was about. I'm like, really? I mean, how much are you reaching right now?
Well, some people like to be anonymous and don't want to be seen, and I can understand that. Totally understand that.
It's safer.
Yeah, and sometimes I wish my face wasn't on camera. I really do.
Yeah.
Other times it has its benefits when you walk into a gym or you walk somewhere. People say, "Oh yeah, you're that guy," and people can expect you beforehand. And
But the
you
flip side,
know, that can be a bit negative about it as well.
yeah,
Um,
exactly. I mean, for me, I like going to the shop and not being recognised.
BK says, I don't agree with Ingram much, but he's not bad. Smile. Let's see what's going on here. I joined LDBC and they have always talked with respect. I am in the dark with up and coming US fighters and they love boxing. Now, listen, all I can say is I always give LDBC a shout out.
Mhm.
What they do, for the most part, there's the LDBC is a community of people that are black, people that are white, people that are Hispanic. They've got a huge community. Some people think the LDBC are just a group of black blokes sitting together doing shows, and that's not quite true. I've seen
Mm.
people all different races and backgrounds from the LDBC community, and I've LDBC is not just one person, and I think that everyone's entitled to have an opinion, rightly or wrongly. People's got an opinion. I think that one of the reasons the creation of the LDBC is because they didn't feel they were getting a fair shot by old media, and old media is very arrogant. Old media is very, at times, very ignorant, and the old media feel that their things is the way to be, and that's why people like the LDBC and even sporting icons and BWTM and many others are out because they don't want to be part of the old media. They want to be new media and they want to have a different um, dialogue with fans alike. So that's why I feel that you know these things happen. And yeah.
Although one of the things, I mean, again, I know plenty of people have been watching YouTube channels for like a long, long time. And
Mm.
believe it or not, I didn't even know that these kind of videos or people doing uploads talking about boxing even existed up until about, what, 2 or 3 months before I started my own channel. I didn't know
Right.
about it. So, of course, when people talk about, I don't know, some people from the past have had beefs and, this was created because of that, I'm in the dark about this. I don't know this. So, of course, if I'm leaving a comment on somebody's channel, I don't know their history with other channels. So, because I drop a comment on, I'll give you an example, like Sean Newton. Okay, so like I'll drop a comment on like um, I know one of his videos. I agree with what he says about this certain fire and why do people hate on this one for no reason. And then suddenly I'm colluding with Sean. I must be racist. I'm like, but I don't. Well, like first of all, I've never seen him being racist, and second of all, I don't know the history of him and other channels and that as well as to why these people have a beef. So whatever your problem is, isn't my problem. Because for me, I mean, I missed the whole Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather era. I didn't see any of that online.
I was I was part of that. I predicted that channels would fall. I said people kept showing me videos of Manny Pacquiao throwing all this hand speed. I said, listen to me. Works well for guys who stand in front of Manny Pacquiao. Floyd Mayweather won't stand in front of Manny Pacquiao. Mayweather's going to outbox Pacquiao.
Hmm.
When that happens, many channels are going to fall, and that's exactly what happened. You can't base your channel based on one fighter or another fighter because if that fighter gets beat, down goes your channel.
Yeah.
Because what ends up happening is if you've based everything, your theology, everything on one fighter, what ends up happening is if that fighter gets beat, all the things you were saying before ends up being, you've got to go back on your words. And if that fighter gets beat by somebody who's a complete nobody, or gets beat by somebody who he shouldn't have got beat by, or she shouldn't have got beat by,
Hmm.
is your channel also has to deal with that as well. So you've got to come back from that. And if your fighter then retires after that, basically your channel becomes redundant. So, some guys have taken that strategy and it works, has
Hmm.
worked. When the chat fighter gets beat, is a problem. So,
Yeah.
one of the things you mentioned a channel earlier on in your chat, I think, like I said, you got a choice. You can be a channel that focuses on personalities, or you can be a channel that works on focuses on truth and factuality.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, that's it. I try not to give, what's the word? I try to be careful who I engage with, very
Yeah.
careful to engage with.
Although in truth, though, I mean, see, I know there's like a lot of people out there that seem to think that me and the LDBC have some kind of rivalry. Now, I don't mention them. I just don't mention them at all. I don't want to get into any kind of problems with them. The only real kind of problems that I've really had, all barring a couple of channels within the LDBC, are, to be honest, British channels who have come at me because I don't want to join a group. Do you know what I mean? Because I don't
Yeah,
want to go into like their ideology
yeah.
and things like that. So I mean, for me, I'm good. I'm respectful. If I agree with you, I agree with you. If I don't, I don't. I'm not going to hate you for it. But because I don't agree with certain things that maybe a couple of these guys will say, or they don't with me, they will do slanderous videos over and over and over again. I'm like, I mean, it's petty. It's absolutely
Well,
petty.
hold
So,
on. Why can't
uh,
you use that? Why can't you use that if they're going to do videos? Then why use it as an opportunity to get new subscribers?
well, I think that's pretty much. Well, to be honest, I think that's what they're doing. I mean, to be honest, because I mean, unfortunately, I've got haters, you've got haters, right?
Oh
So,
yeah.
so of course, if I beef with
Now,
you,
I see. At my stage now, I've got dedicated haters. You know what dedicated haters are?
yeah,
Before you even upload a video, they've already hit the dislike.
thumbs down. Oh yeah, yeah, I've got plenty of those, plenty of those. Yeah,
But the
I mean,
thing is, I think there's some two-faced people. I think the same people that say they're in the chat talking to you and saying they like you, the same people that turn around and hit the dislike button. Yeah, two-faced. Can't trust most people on YouTube.
yeah,
Can't trust, honestly.
it must be difficult
So
to wake up in the morning to find a reason to hate. you know? And I mean, for me, if somebody's uploaded a video, I'm not really going to know unless I'm subscribed to you. I don't
yeah,
really go through the whole recommendation. So these people must be subscribed to us, surely. Do we come straight away and click the thumbs down before the intro has even played? You know? But it's like it's what I mean. If you and me beefed, my haters will suddenly like us, follow you, and then your haters will follow me. I mean, it's good for subs, I suppose. I don't know, not really know if it works, but
I
I
think
guess
I
that's the
think we
old
should,
school
I
mentality.
think it might be fun. Let's have a fake beef. It works for all the other boxes, doesn't it? We can have a fake beef. We can split the subscribers between us. What do you think?
Yeah, yeah. Why not? Why not? Why not?
I
Oh,
have to be careful. I have to be careful, but I have to be very, very careful.
you need to be a bit more professional than I need to be. But I think
Listen,
that I mean, again, you see, I mean, I get accused from certain channels of buying subs. I mean, And up until what, a few months ago, I didn't even know that was even possible. But apparently it's possible. But apparently I buy subs. I'm on the Matchroom payroll, and the charity thing
Yeah.
for Duchenne
Oh,
that
I
I
had
put in
that.
each of the videos,
Yeah.
is fake.
I had one idiot from a well-known boxing channel said that I buy subscribers. I said to him, "Are you were you born an idiot?" I said, "Why would I buy subscribers? What would be the point of that?" And then he went into my he was going on Social Blade and saying how my subscribers jumped from this amount to that amount, how did they jump. I said, "You're an idiot." I said, "What's basically happened is YouTube delay. Sometimes YouTube delay. Like there was a time to delay in 2, 3, 4, 5 days at a time. And you've got subscribers. You get a really good day. You've had a live show, like for
Mm.
anywhere than Pacquiao would fight, and I did commentary on that, or you'd have any big fight that happened, Golovkin or Canelo. You get a bulk of subscribers that'll come. Then overnight, you may get 150, 200 subscribers. Certainly, that's bought subscribers. What an idiot! I mean, it's just like unbelievable. Um,
Well, if I was going to buy subscribers and you were going to buy subscribers, surely we'd have a lot more.
well, I'll be honest. I'm on our news channel. We're on 9,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
It's crossed my mind to for the next 100 for the next 1,000 subscribers to buy it just to get into the YouTube club of 10,000 subscribers. But
There's no benefits with it.
there are benefits to 10,000 subscribers.
Are there?
No, I'm not going to do that because I just like the whole thing of it building organically. Because you can see and at least you know that the subscribers you're getting are based off the work and the content that you're putting up. So I'd rather that than fake subscribers being brought in because I guess fake subscribers come in, fake subscribers come off. Yeah, that can happen. So I wouldn't want that myself personally. But hey, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. I
Yeah.
let with the crap they've got to say. Most of the stuff that people talk, well, 99% of the time, people talk about things that are unverified. And they talk to make themselves look good, or they talk because they're jealous. One of those three things.
Yeah.
All of them, I don't answer back. I don't get involved simply because not worth my time. Don't waste my energy on it. Don't get involved. We've got bigger things, bigger fish to fry, as they say.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've always said though that for me, I'm lucky because right from the early on, I kind of got the break that most don't. As in, I had Dillian White, so
Yeah,
I had that, and that boosted me like really, really hard for like from then, and then since then, others come on like a Dave Allen, and
yeah,
Gary Spike O'Sullivan, Billy Joe
yeah.
Saunders, Josh Kelly, and so on and so on and so on. So that kind of like helped me out. Whereas a lot of people who, in my opinion, are so much better than I am, but they don't get the viewership. They don't get is it the right word? The fame? Probably not the right word, but they don't get the spotlight.
You'd be
And
surprised. YouTube does a lot of YouTube does a lot of things. Don't give you the true stats of what's really going on.
mm, yeah, maybe, but at the same time, I don't know. Maybe I come along at the right time. Joshua was he just beaten Dillian White, and maybe I was come along at the right time. No, sorry, he just beaten Molina. Sorry. So I don't know. Maybe I come along at the right time. How do I come a year later? I don't know. Maybe
Okay.
if I'd have went a year before, who knows? I don't know. Maybe it's just perfect timing. I don't know.
What do you think is key for your subscribers, in your opinion?
I think regular uploading.
Okay.
I think that's probably key. I mean, I have so many people contact me on social media about wanting to start their own channel and things like that. Like I don't know. I suppose words of advice, but I do try and tell people I'm only 18 months in. I'm still learning myself, and if I knew the key to success, I'd improve it. To be honest. But I think, as far as I can tell, regular uploading, interacting with people in the comment section, that helps. And also on social media, interacting with them as well. For me, I've got like a bit of an OCD about it. If I see a comment or, and it's been like a couple of days and I haven't seen that comment and I realize that I haven't seen it, I feel bad about it.
Right. I get
Um,
it. Yeah, yeah, I've done that.
but
Customer
also,
service.
yeah. And also, I think intros help.
Yeah, they do. They do. They do.
So like a shout out from a fighter. So if you can get like one or two shout outs from a fighter and have it as your intro, it just looks impressive. I mean, I tried to create my own intros and that before I had anything like that. And to be honest, I'm not very kind of savvy on Windows. I'm all right with like the Mac, but I don't have a Mac. So I'm
Yeah,
not very good at the whole, creating intros and that kind of thing. So when Dillian approached me and, we had like a little chat, like behind the scenes and on the phone and that, and then, he sent me an intro. And from that moment on, I was like, hang on a minute, this crap actually works. And there's me laughing at, say, Dante's Boxing Nation for having like his intro, thinking that's crap. But then suddenly I'm doing it. It's weird. Do you know what I mean?
yeah. It's either people think it's quite fun. I'm glad you said that. Some people believe it's just a case of sticking a camera up and running out there and getting interviews. It starts good for about a year, and then you'll see. Give them 2, 3 years, and then you'll see. Ingram, do you still get exclusive interviews with Peter Fury? I don't know why people do ask you questions like that. I guess I do, unless there's been a ban on me.
I'm banned from Frank Warren, so I'll never have him.
Have you banned him, or he banned you?
He banned me.
Why? How did it
Because,
happen?
well, it's weird because I kind of like criticized the fact that he allowed or handed the reins over to Mick Hennessy to promote Parker versus Huey, and
Okay.
then they put it on YouTube. Now, I'm not against the idea of that, but for me, I'm thinking this is a world heavyweight title shot. It shouldn't be on YouTube. He had the golden opportunity to use Frank Warren to put it on to Box Nation, or surely he's got contacts because he has history with, is it Channel 5 or something like that?
Yeah.
Surely he had something to do that. And I criticized the fact that he used that platform and did it as pay per view. And from that very moment that I did that video, Mick Hennessy blocked me. And then when somebody sent me an article, or no, sorry, a tweet that Frank Warren said, suddenly I couldn't access it and I was blocked. I was like, hang on a minute. So you guys have blocked me because I criticized the fact that you put a world heavyweight title fight on YouTube.
Oh,
Yeah. So
well,
again,
well,
but
I'm not sure if that's Frank Warren himself. I think that might be Pete Warren.
I
In
have
fact,
heard,
I'm 95% sure it's not Frank Warren.
yeah, I have heard that people, or he has guys who run his channel for, sorry,
Yeah.
his social media for him.
Yes. Yes.
Well, yeah, I mean, maybe. I mean, if I try and walk into a show at some point, I'll soon find out. You know,
I
if
don't. I
he's going
don't.
to
I
block
don't. I
me.
don't. I don't think it's unless Frank himself has sent you a letter. I don't think it's Frank that's blocked you. I think it would be worse for Frank Warren. That's what I think. Yeah. I don't know. I remember going to some press conferences previously. There's one guy I can't stand, and not mention his name because I'm not even going to give him that, make him that famous. But because he was telling me how to do my job, he was saying, "Oh, well, you're not allowed to ask these questions." I'm like, "Give me that damn microphone. Ask what I damn well want to ask."
Yeah,
I mean, so after he did that, I said, "You know what? I ain't turning up to more press conferences."
damn.
Not doing it.
That's
So
I think. I mean, if you're going to be interviewing, then you should have the freedom to ask whatever it is you want to ask. I mean, I understand personal questions, for example,
yes,
and
of course.
if something's happened in the news and it's personal, and maybe they're going to have a press release about it. Listen,
Yeah,
I get that. But if it's boxing related, you should be able to ask anything in the world that you want.
of course. I mean, the whole thing with Peter Fury and Tyson Fury, people want me to say, well, what happened? Don't ask Peter. I'm like, hold on a second. I've known Peter since 2012, 13. So I'm ruining my relationship with Peter Fury. And even if Peter was going to tell me behind closed doors what happened,
Mm,
I'm not going to ruin that relationship for some faceless character who just wants sensationalism. Why would I do that?
yeah.
There's no old friendships. Don't, I can't do that. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, I was told about the reasons, and
Yeah.
I was told not to say anything
Yeah.
as well, but not from Peter or Tyson or anything. I mean, I've never spoken to Tyson. I mean, I've spoken to Peter before, but purely on social media. Never. I mean,
Right.
I've never had him on the channel. I mean, ever since I ripped Huey, I'm not too sure if he'd be keen on it if he even saw that video, to be honest. But
Right.
I don't know. I mean, for me, I rate Peter Fury as a trainer. I rate him very, very highly. He's considering the fact that he spent so long with nothing to do with boxing, really. He spent all that time in jail as well, and he's come out. And his IQ on boxing, I'm not too sure I can put too many coaches alongside him.
Yeah, he's amazing. He's phenomenal. He is a professor of boxing. He's a professor.
Yeah.
The only person I probably would give a little bit more to is Bashir, and that's because Bashir has actually been in the sport a little longer and has had the opportunity to have more exposure to many more world champions, Klitschko, Lewis.
Mm,
He's been around the whole Kronk gym, so he had a lot more fighters to work with. But him
mm.
tremendous in terms of the game.
Bashir, he was the one who some online news article accused him of leaking to the press or selling to the press about Tyson Fury.
No, that's not Bashir. That's Asif Valley.
That's him. That's him. Yeah, I got into an argument with this online so-called popular thing because I said, so you accused these people of this, and yet you've never once backed it up. Even now, they still haven't backed up that claim of like accusing this man, and
Yeah,
but yet,
yep, yep,
but
yep.
yet, it really shows the kind of character of Peter Fury that he can put business as business and personal feelings to one side because he will still do interviews with these people,
Yeah,
even though
yeah,
they
yeah,
done that to his friend.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I said, some people you've got to set out. You've got to set out your goals from the start. And a lot of these people, these cats running around today doing what they're doing, they've actually come. If you look at the history of BWTM or Bayloric TV, they've come through Bayloric. They've come.
Yeah,
A lot of these cats have come through Bayloric, and they've gone on and done their own thing. Uh, yeah. So for me,
you've been doing it a long time
okay,
now, haven't you?
yeah, but you see, for me, at the end of the day, character's everything.
Hmm.
I don't believe this crap where people say loyalty is if you want loyalty, get a dog in boxing. That's crap. That's bullshit. I don't believe that. There's
Yeah,
people I've got long-standing relationships with are no dogs, and they're great people. And
yeah,
it means everything to me. Those people who are not loyal in the sport, seen them, and I've seen them hit the pits. One sooner or later, it catches up with them. You
yeah,
can't get good people wrong. It catches up with you. So
yeah.
yeah, I don't. I've not. There's not one person in boxing I've disrespected or had a bad word to say about, or no, I do what I do, and I treat people with respect, and I just hope they treat you with respect back. There's some people who it's foreign to them, so I'm trying to keep
Yeah.
those people at a distance.
Well, I mean,
Generally, go ahead.
there are some fighters who I will never ever have on my channel,
Right.
and like a reason being, I'll probably say about two of them. I tried to get them on, and there was one of them, and I spoke to him on Twitter. Now, I don't use social media too much, shall we
Okay.
say, and so therefore on Twitter, I don't really like collect followers. I don't ask people to follow me, all that kind of thing. So I don't have that many. And he looked at my followers and said, "But you don't have many followers, so therefore, if you want me on your channel, you can pay me." I went, "Okay, that's not what my YouTube is. Go have a look at my YouTube." He had a look. He went,
Yeah.
"Okay, fair enough. When do you want to have an interview?" I said, "Never. You're not having it now." So
Yeah.
there are
Yeah.
certain ones that would never ever get that, and also I've been asked for money to interview, which I
Yeah.
would
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
which I would never ever do.
Yeah. I know there was a certain fighter, well-known fighter, that asked me years ago.
Yeah,
They asked me to do asked to do an interview with them. And they said, "How much are you charging? How much would you want me to? How much are you going to pay me for the interview?" I said, "Forget
yeah,
it." About it. Funny enough, that fight ended up being broke, and I ended up doing a video on that same fighter trying to save their house for them. So
yeah.
it's ironic, isn't it? How these things turn around.
It is. It is. that's the thing. I mean, I kind of look at it for like a long-term thing as well. So those who come to me now and are open to me now are more likely to have on in the future. So those who say no to me now, you're not going to get another chance.
Yeah, that's it. That's where you got to be. You've got to be that way. Is it true Wilder asked to spar Huey for the Tyson fight?
I had that.
Oh, Peter told him where to go, told him there's enough betrayal in the boxing game. I don't know. And if that was the case, it's the case, and it's not the case. But no, stuff like that really doesn't. Stuff like that really doesn't move me. It's
Yeah.
what difference does it make if it was said or it wasn't said?
In reality, I think for me, regardless of problems that Tyson and Peter may or may not have, for
Yeah.
me, no matter what it is, there will always be that loyalty of family first. So I can
Yes.
never see Huey doing that. But if they did, it's purely for business reasons. And I don't know, to be real, I think Huey is probably the ideal sparring partner for Deontay Wilder to prepare him for Wilder. And
Think this
likewise
out.
for
Yeah.
Wilder for preparation for Pulev.
How about the whole? How about the whole conspiracy theory that Peter and John Fury made it up, said, right, you know what, we're not going to like one another. We're gonna split or go our separate ways. Tyson's going to go to fight for a world heavyweight championship. Hugh's going to hold that version of the heavyweight championship, and they'll do exactly what the Klitschko's did and rule supreme. Imagine that.
To be honest, no, I don't think that happened. But
No, no, I'm no,
yeah,
I'm just saying in terms of a conspiracy theory.
well, it would work. But to be truthfully honest, I think if that did happen and if Tyson held titles and Huey held titles, there's something telling me they would actually fight. And I think, again, to be honest, conspiracy, I think if these guys did fight, I think Tyson may actually lay down for him.
Wow, wow, that's interesting, eh?
Yeah. But I don't
That's
know.
very interesting.
I mean, conspiracies are what's interesting, I think. That's why I like the whole Matchroom Boxing USA thing. And I don't understand why people in the States, certain people, channels, are so against it. Now, I'm not the biggest Oscar De La Hoya fan in the world, but if he wanted
Yeah,
to come to the UK and start promoting shows, I'm all in for it because that's more shows
yeah,
for me to watch. Do you know
yeah,
what I mean? So I
yeah.
don't understand the whole hatred and calling Eddie Hearn the slave master and things like that. I mean,
Well, I
it's
think maybe
ridiculous.
because of it's not. You see, I'm fortunate. I'm married to an American woman or a woman from America and Illinois, and knows the lay of the land very well, the political lay of the land. And so a lot of people in the UK think the UK is like the US, and it's not. The whole
Yep.
setup is so different. People don't understand. Like in the UK, we've got areas of poverty and the areas was rich. Generally, you go to a rich area. We know that if you go to Eton, it's rich. If you go into Hackney, generally you go to Hackney, it's poor.
Sure.
In America, you can walk on one side of the road, it'd be extremely rich, and walk on the other side of the road, it'd be extremely poor, and be in the same area. And that's the sort of you could turn one corner, and it can be a black area. You can,
Mm,
or black community, African American community. You could turn another corner, literally just turn again like 30 seconds, and you're in a Jewish community. You turn again, you're in an Indian community. You turn again, you're in a completely white community. You know,
mm,
and so therefore, um, with that, it's right there, and you've just got the different points from rich to poor in just literally 30 seconds of one another, and it's very different. You've got a lot of different things have happened. America's much bigger than the UK as well.
mm,
So mentalities are different. A lot of people speaking in the states are talking from a point of pain and a
mm,
point. They've done a lot of fighting, whether the NAACP, civil rights movement, or whatever else. In America, in the UK, we don't have as much people police running around with guns shooting people.
yeah.
There's a lot of things going on, and so people just think boxing and they get very narrow-minded. But some of these people are coming from a much wider experience, and when they're speaking themselves,
Mm.
um, got down a lot for what they're saying. But it's a different country, different set of rules, and different agenda there. And sometimes some people are speaking out of pain, and some people are speaking out of because of that pain. They've had to be strong,
Mm.
be in unity because they keep getting discriminated against, and all they want is equality and justice. And so
Mm.
therefore, that's what you're getting. So, I understand. I kind of understand both sides of the water,
Mm.
but education is key. You've got to educate yourself, not yourself personally.
Yeah,
People need to educate. And yeah, when you turn around to these certain channels who are in America, you say to them, "Oh, I just want to talk boxing. I don't talk anything else."
mm.
That's kind of dismissive because you're going into their house. It's like me walking into your house and you invite me into your house and okay, well, this is the food I can offer you. This is the drink I can offer you. I say, you know what? I'm not interested in the food and drink that you offer me. I can actually see that beer up there. I want that beer, and I want that there. Your wife or your kid or whatever, and I'm taking what I want as opposed to what you're giving me. You understand?
Mhm.
Really dismissive, lacking social skills, and ultimately, sort of stuff they're fighting with at the moment. So it's so when you talk about Eddie Hearn going to America and taking those mannerisms, which can trigger and can activate sensitivity in some people in the states who see that behavior and align it with other characters within the state with that same sort of mentality, silver spoon, um, entitled, um, and they put it across the line. So they're from America to be. So they don't see Eddie Hearn. They see a character. They see a certain type of behavior. And so for therefore, for example, if you got bullied by people that agree, for example, you got bullied by people who agree when you're younger,
Mhm.
and then the states you're older, and you see people that agree in the states. What's your initial reaction? What's your reaction going to be? You're going to be terrified because you got bullied by people that agree. So in the States, I'm not saying they got bullied, you've got a situation with somebody who comes across as very entitled and is talking a different language, whereas people like DeBella and Aaron, they are Americans, so they understand the sensitivities they understand the political situation, the political climate. Someone like Hearn doesn't understand that.
Mm.
And they need to understand that. They're doing boxing in the UK, they're coming to the US, we're gonna do the same shit we did in the UK and the US. And it doesn't work that way.
Uh,
So there
yeah,
is some issues there.
I certainly understand what you mean. I mean, Eddie Hearn is an attention seeker. He does want to be a celebrity, and yes, he does come across as, to be honest, a bit of a prick at times. So I can understand theirs because we have a different way of looking at things. We have different humor or whatever, and sarcasm is the backbone of any British person, right?
Yeah.
But and with America, they have humor, but their humor is silly humor. So you have to be obviously being humorous. But whereas Eddie Hearn is, for me, it's tongue in cheek. But they see, I wouldn't mind too much that they don't like Eddie Hearn or whatever, but to not want the content of boxing based on one person. I mean, for me, it doesn't matter whether or not you like Eddie Hearn or not. Just judge it by the content. And surely, as a boxing fan, that's a good thing. But at the same time, I wouldn't mind too much. But they've only really started hating on him since the whole Joshua versus Wilder situation. Before then,
because
they weren't
because
doing it.
yeah, but okay, look, there's a lot of things, a lot of people that don't that say, oh, Eddie Hearn's the best promoter in the world. Well, the best promoter in the world with only one pay-per-view fighter. Okay, look at Daz. How many fighters on that Daz promotion, apart from Anthony Joshua, do you really care about?
On his
What's
own.
that? Yeah, exactly. See the silence?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like Joshua, yeah, I mean, he's
Forget
certainly
Joshua.
the biggest star. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay,
So
okay.
you're talking
Okay,
about
talk to
ones
me.
that who are, as in Americans who are signed with DAZN, not Matchroom UK.
we're talking Matchroom. Yeah, okay, even okay, you can Matchroom UK, Matchroom USA. But if
Okay.
it gets beat, where's Matchroom?
For a crossover outside of Joshua, none. Crossover
So how
for
can he
America. In the UK, we could kind of like argue that, say, Tony Bellew is pay per view, but at the same time, he does need an opponent to be pay per view.
really? Okay, what you tell me? Okay, Tony Belly's pay per view. What makes Belly to pay per view?
For me, entertainment, and he knows how to sell. But I think for me, Tony Bellew needs another top guy. So, for example, he needs a David Haye. He needs an Usyk. But if he was to
Okay,
go fight, say, I don't know, Masternak again, no one's going to watch it, are they?
okay,
You know
wait,
what I
hold
mean?
on. So when did what was a crossover fight that made Tony Belly a pay per view star?
I think probably Makabu, to be honest. I know some people say cleverly, but I
Okay,
think Makabu.
okay. This is not slating Tony Bellew, but these are the facts. Tony Bellew has never beaten a champion to be a champion. He has had all vacant belts
Yeah, I heard that.
to now. Ultimately, he beat Makabu for the vacant WBC title.
Yep.
He fought for a vacant European title. So how he translates to being a pay per view star cleverly was never a pay per view star, never ever.
Yep.
Um, um, so forget cleverly. Makabu was never a pay per view star, so forget Makabu. Um, David Haye, yes, was pay per view star, but it's David Haye, not Tony Bellew.
Hmm.
So how Tony Bellew's pay per view, he beats David Haye, but does that
Well, I mean,
star?
again, do you think that like a Tony Bellew versus Usyk that'd be pay per view, or a Bellew versus Tyson Fury that would
But
be pay
hold
per view?
on, is based on who? Is that based on Bellew's profile or based on Usyk's profile? Again, Bellew has never beaten a champion.
Mm. Yeah, yeah,
Usyk
but
is you undisputed champion.
yeah,
That pay per view is based on Usyk,
I think Bellew
Tony
versus
Bellew.
would Bellew versus Dillian White would that be pay per view?
Okay, so then again, Dillian White fought Chisora. Dillian White's fought Joseph Parker. Dillian White's fought Bruce Brown. Well, that's three guys already in heavyweight division who've been ranked in the top 10 at some point in the stage.
Hmm.
Who's David Haye?
Hmm.
Yeah, but we all know that was an
Well,
old David Haye.
yeah, but again, I mean, I suppose that's kind of like I mean, there's a huge, huge fan base, fanatical fan base. I mean, people criticize Joshua fan base, Tyson Fury fan base, and Deontay Wilder fan base, but David Haye had a fanatical fan base too.
Yeah,
So
but okay. David Haye was unified cruiserweight champion. David Haye moved up to the heavyweight division.
yeah,
They fought heavyweights, and he actually fought Vladimir Klitschko, sorry. So
yeah,
he actually fought a reigning champion.
yeah. But at the same time, you see, while Haye had like a lot of these fans, he had an awful lot of haters as well. So because Tony Bellew was saying all this kind of stuff about David Haye and the fact that he beat David Haye, controversial with the first one, I agree. There were certainly circumstances behind it, but Bellew gained a lot of fans, a hell of a lot of fans.
Yeah, David. Yeah, but David. David was because he did his own thing. He wasn't. He didn't have the promoters behind him in the way, the traditional way. David and Booth did their own thing, so they pissed a lot of people off anyway. But no, again, it comes back to the question. You look at the stable that Eye of the Tiger got, the Canadian Eye of the Tiger. They've got Alvarez. They have Bertibiev. It's Bertibiev. Bertib. I can never
Better be,
pronounce
yeah.
Bwtm. They've got three of the four light heavyweight champions, and Bivol. They've got three of the four light heavyweight champions at the moment in the world.
Yeah.
Four world champions in the light heavyweight division, right? They say that Hearn is the best promoter in the world. I think that's bull. You look at the WBSS with the Sauerlands. I think it's Sauerlands behind that. I think Sauerland have put on better fights consistently with the WBSS. Um,
Mm.
I'm not Hearn, but I don't think he's the best in the world. And I'm certain down for damn sure he's nowhere in the class of a Don King. You got to think of what Don King had back in the day, the amount of fighters Don King had in the day who were world champions and top of the top reigning world champions. Say all he wanted about him being a criminal and all the rest of it, but he may have been a crook, but no more of a crook than the rest of them. So, you know,
I mean, there's certainly a fine line between being a great promoter and being one who can sell themselves. For me, Eddie Hearn's probably the most famous out, as in of the new generation. I'm not talking like Don King and that, and Bob Arum, of course, but he has made a name for himself.
Yeah, but what's more important, the promoter or the fighters? I thought it was the fighters.
Fighters, of course, but I mean, like, he's a great salesman.
Is he?
I think so.
I view a promoter based on winning purse bids. That's what I view a promoter. Who's job promoting his fighters. When you've only got one pay-per-view star in your camp, how many fighters has Matchroom got based on, and how many of those Matchroom fighters would you say are would be legendary fighters? Then look at Frank Warren and the fighters that Frank has had for his camp in the years, and the legendary fighters they've moved from Ben to, so many fighters that Frank had that actually were world champions, not title holders, that had several defenses of world titles.
Oh yeah, plenty. I mean, Frank Warren is. I mean, for me, Frank Warren is definitely a Hall of Fame, no doubt. And he's done an awful lot for British boxing, and he should always be respected for that. But unfortunately for him, unfortunately for Frank, and fortunately for Eddie, people look at today's market.
Okay, let me ask you a question. I only say that, but built Box Nation. He built Box Nation. People laughed at it. He built Box Nation, and Box Nation brought you a lot of the big fights. Which Sky weren't interested in showing. Box Nation showed.
Yeah.
People forget that about what Frank did with Box Nation. He built that from the scratch up. You look at Eddie Hearn, due respect, the Sky platform was there for him.
Yeah, certainly. But I mean, for me, I see it as Frank Warren caters for the hardcore, and Eddie Hearn caters for the new breed. As in, he is the one who, he knows how to swing the market. As in, he will engage in the social media. He can reach people who may be not that interested in boxing, whereas Frank Warren doesn't.
It's an easy job to promote to people who don't know what you're talking about, but it's a hard job to promote to people who know what you're talking about. You understand? I could promote to a bunch of people and say, yeah, this is a real boxing bout. You're 50-55. You look at the way Sky has now moved its way to really catering for casuals. They're not catering for those people who understand the sport of boxing, who understand the sport. When you tell me a fight is 50-50 and tell me that Mayweather is going to get beat by McGregor, when you tell me that Belal and Brook is a 50-55, when the guy moves from welterweight up to middleweight, you tell me that's a 50-55. When we down, we'll know it's not 50-55.
Yeah.
That's the platform you've got today. That is the platform today. Okay. Yeah. That platform is based on the casual market, which is what it is. Let's call it for what it is. And so therefore, people will look and say, all right, so you can't win purse bids. And the big fight between himself and Wilder should have happened. Hasn't happened. That's what people are going to look at. People are going to look at those things. The purse bids being, and the three things: purse bids being lost, fighters being, fighters being put in fights that they have no chance of winning. I could say that Frank Warren the other night with that Paddy Barnes fight. Paddy Barnes shouldn't be nowhere near that guy before. Nowhere. He had no business being in there. So I don't know if they sent Paddy Barnes on his way because they probably thought that Paddy Barnes wasn't a ticket seller. I don't know why, but should have happened. But my point is, don't, not you personally, but don't try and ram it down my throat that Hearn is the best promoter in the world when his stable is based on one fighter. And if Anthony Joshua, if he had 3, 4, 5 pay-per-view stars, I say, yeah, great model. He probably is the best in the world. When you've got one pay-per-view star,
Hmm.
star, and that pay per view star, that pay per view, if Povetkin now turns around and he beats Joshua,
Hmm.
where did he leave Matchroom?
Yeah, yeah, so we can say that. But at the same time, though, what pay-per-view star has Frank got? For me, Tyson Fury, he needs an opponent. He would
Mm-hmm.
sell for sure, but I don't think Tyson Fury would sell much more than Dillian White. He would.
Frampton,
Carl
Carl
Frampton.
Frampton,
Well, we see again. I mean, Carl Frampton certainly, but I mean, are you expecting Warrington Frampton to do great numbers? Is that pay-per-view?
Warrington, Frampton.
I
Well,
like the fight. I'm not hating on it,
Frampton,
but
Frampton's fought abroad and he's fought the best in the world.
I
You
agree.
can't not. He fought Cruz. So the other guy he didn't fight was Rickendell, but he fought Santa Cruz. Won one, lost one.
Yep.
And he fought Scott Quigg as well. That was
Yep.
stars that make, but it's still a lot of hype there. Warrington has just beaten Lee Selby.
Hmm.
Lee Selby was a pay-per-view star, but Warrington, Frampton, that could be the dawning of an era. It could be changing an era, changing of the guard there between Frampton and Warrington. Is Frampton just on the slide and Warrington on the way out? We'll soon find out. I think it's a great fight. And Warrington, he's got a great following in Leeds. It will be interesting to see if Warrington can do that outside of Leeds. And, he needs the exposure. I guarantee you now, if Warrington was on Sky Sports, I think he'd be a pay-per-view star. He's got that Ricky Hatton thing about him.
Mm.
Remember Frank gave us Ricky Hatton as well, Joe Calzaghe. Well, there's two fighters there, Joe Calzaghe and Ricky Hatton. There's two fighters there under Frank Warren.
Yeah. I can certainly say that. I mean, with Warrington, I think that Eddie Hearn dropped the ball with him
Yep.
for sure on that one. I can agree, but I don't know. I don't think. I mean, I don't want to hate on pay-per-view because, to be honest, I'm not Thai and I pay for pay-per-views anyway. But for me, I think Warrington, Frampton, while I will watch it, but I don't
Yep.
think it's going to do that well, to be honest. It'll do well. I think it probably maybe do 200,000 potentially, maybe, if that's
Mhm.
considered successful.
Okay. You say okay. Let's go nowhere. This Joshua pay-per-view style. All right.
Hmm.
How much in today's market? Let me bring one guy to you, Ricky Hatton.
Yeah.
Even today, with Ricky Hatton's market, I believe Ricky Hatton is more of a pay-per-view star than Anthony Joshua. And here's my saying: he could sell out arenas in the UK. We also know he had fans that would travel with him to America when he fought Mayweather, when he fought Pacquiao. Hatton had a traveling support base. Does Joshua have a traveling support base? And outside of the UK, where is it?
Well, again, I know to answer that question, I suppose he's going to have to fight outside the UK to find out if he does. I mean, for me, and I think most people know that Joshua's fan base, for the most part, are casual fans, as in they watch Joshua, and the only people that they really know outside of Joshua are his opponents. That's pretty much it. So, of course, they would have heard of Povetkin prior to it being announced. Now they may know a little bit about Povetkin, or maybe not. Maybe they won't even look at it. But will they travel? I don't know, to be honest.
Right. That's where you find out where your promoter's at. That's where you
Yeah,
find
yeah, certainly.
that's where you find your promoter. That's the real test. Can you get
Mm,
your star that you've built in the UK to
mm.
get to
This,
Warren did it over and
well,
over again, did he not?
oh, certainly he did, but I think Ricky Hatton played a major role in that. Whereas, I mean, if you were to compare Ricky Hatton to Joshua, Joshua is like the Pope, very difficult to get hold of. You try and get Joshua on your channel, it's impossible. But Ricky Hatton is a people person. You will find him down the pub, but you will find him in the chip shop. You know what I mean? So he would mix. So people have a like a real connection with Ricky Hatton. So of
So,
course he'll build that.
okay, all right. Frank Bruno. Who sells more, Bruno or Joshua?
Well,
No
I'll probably
comparison. Bruno was a star in the UK. He was on TV commercials, and he went to America, and the Americans knew who Frank Bruno was. He fought Tim Witherspoon. He fought Bone Crusher
yeah,
Smith, Randall
yeah.
Cummins. He fought Joe Bugner. He fought Revolta. He fought a lot of guys internationally, Americans, and he went to America and he fought Tyson
Mm. But again, you
in the
see, like
UK.
almost like then, it's like the old British way. I don't want to be like a disrespectful to Bruno because, like, he was one of my heroes growing up. He was,
Yeah,
but he was always British people love the second best. It's probably the most polite way I can put it, which is why people who like snooker always like Jimmy White. He always got to the final, never quite won. Okay, with Frank Bruno, he always got to the final, never won, which is why I
let me
think
ask.
I'm remembering the McCall fight.
Okay, but let me bring this back to you again. Bruno didn't have Facebook. Bruno didn't have Twitter. Bruno didn't have Instagram. Bruno didn't
Yeah,
have followers.
no,
Bruno had real fans of boxing.
he did.
So you got mythical fans, or that's why Hearn won't take a chance of taking Joshua out to America. You want to learn anything? Dillian, your good mate Dillian White, our good friend Dillian White. How many thousands of users he had on social media interviews?
Oh, plenty.
When he went to America, what happened? He fought Malcolm Tan. And how many
Yeah,
people turn up to that fight in America? How many fans turn up to support Dillian White? The same fans that watch him on social media, and he's got all those followers. How many turned up to watch him in America?
probably about 10 to be perfectly honest. I think.
That is my point.
But again, I mean, if Dillian White was to fight Wilder in America, I think a lot of people would turn up from UK. But again, it's like a
Really,
yeah, yeah, I think so.
really,
Yeah, I think so.
really. I don't.
Not enough to fill out an
I
arena.
don't.
I'm not going to say that.
I
But again,
don't.
you see, I mean, we can go back to the Frank Bruno thing. I mean, okay, so Frank Bruno, I mean, you see, I can remember him on like comedy sketches with like Bobby Davro and Jim Davidson
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah, 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 yeah,
Des
yeah.
O'Connor and like Freddie Starr and all that kind of thing and pantomime. So he was always in the
Yeah.
newspaper. He was always on telly. So he was always there. But I think this is exactly the same argument I have with a lot of Wilder fans. Is
Yeah.
that if he can't sell out an arena in Brooklyn, 19,000, if you're going to put 14,000 in the arena, listen, that's a
Yeah.
great number. But this is in the day of social media, exactly like how you say. But yet you go back to Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield, all like these guys could sell out any arena, worldwide
Hold on.
stars without social
Let
media.
me stop you there. Let me stop you there. Name me the top three sports in the UK.
Top three,
Yeah.
probably football, rugby, and I'd probably say nowadays, maybe boxing. But
Okay.
again,
Name. Okay.
maybe I'm being
All right.
a little
Let's say the
biased
top
there.
four. Top four: cricket, boxing,
Cricket, yeah,
rugby, and football.
yeah,
Four. Okay. The top four:
yeah,
rugby. Any, and you can always replace one. Put rugby in there. Okay.
sure.
Now let's talk about America. Top four sports.
Hmm.
Go ahead. Tell me the top four sports in boxing. In
American football,
Yep.
basketball,
Yep.
hockey,
Yeah.
and dare I say WWE.
Right. I noticed you didn't mention boxing there.
No, the only reason I didn't mention it is because I hear a lot of Americans saying the exact same thing. But
Okay.
at the
Right.
same time, all these things were about when Mike Tyson was about, when
Yeah, but
Evander
you
Holyfield
got to
were
also
about.
remember. You got to also remember. Uh, those are the four sports we mentioned, right? And you also forgot UFC as well.
Hmm.
That's another
Yeah,
key component as well.
which is a new
You
one.
also you have to remember you can fit the UK into. I think you can hit the UK into Chicago. I think it's going to be something like 6 or 7 times over.
Hmm.
All right, that's just one state.
Yeah,
Um, Eddie Hearn did a naughty. He was running around, was it New York, saying, "Does anybody know who Dillian, who Deontay Wilder is?"
yeah.
Well, did he not follow that up afterwards and say, "Does anybody know who Anthony Joshua is?"
No, he didn't because he knew the answer.
Exactly. See, that's what I'm talking about. That's very deceitful because you're not telling the truth. What
Yeah,
you're doing. This is why people don't like her, because what they're saying is, okay, why didn't you give us both sides of the story? Okay, you run around New York in some areas saying, "No, do you know who Deontay Wilder is?" No, we don't know Deontay. I said, now bring your fighter in and ask the same damn question. People would have gone, well, imagine he goes to basketball. You go to NBA basketball tournament,
Mhm.
yeah, and the commentator calls him Anthony Johnson. I'm not getting on Joshua now, and this is not
Yeah,
Joshua,
yeah,
but it is what it is. And
yeah.
if you look at Joshua and you look at the cameras that are on him, he did not seem the most comfortable guy in the world. He was looking around as if he was looking and waiting to see whether Deontay Wilder was going to pop out from somewhere. It was very creepy watching it.
Yeah.
Um,
At the same time, though, we could also
yeah.
flip it around. That very, very same time when Joshua was there, Wilder had his thing for Jack Johnson at the White House with Donald
Yes.
Trump. Um,
Uh,
CNN, very, very popular news channel, called him Lennox Lewis.
Lennox Lewis was stood next to him as well.
Yeah,
So
he
at
was,
least,
but it's like the screenshot they had. They had Sylvester Stallone, Donald Trump, and Lennox Lewis, but it wasn't. It was Deontay Wilder, and that's our
yeah,
own
it can
countryman.
happen.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that can happen. That can happen.
Yeah,
If Joshua was in America, I think it probably would have been worse. I don't think Joshua would sell out the same way Wilder. He would have problems selling out, because if you look at the history of American heavyweights, if you look at Mike Tyson, he was very boisterous, very loud, and that's what they liked,
mm.
brash. Then you look at Evander Holyfield. The Americans used to call said Evander Holyfield had a personality bypass operation. I mean, when he was champion, they didn't like that.
Yeah, yeah,
Bowl used to talk. Then you looked at Lennox Lewis. They didn't like Lennox Lewis because Lennox Lewis had no personality. Lennox
hmm,
Lewis and Anthony Johnson personality are very similar,
yeah, yeah. I
very, very
agree.
similar in terms of personalities. So I'm not convinced that Joshua being a big star in America. And I'm convinced that if Deontay Wilder was in the UK, he'd sell out arenas as well. Controversy, uh,
No, no, I
puncher,
agree.
knocking guys out cold. So I think,
I agree.
this whole Joshua Gates is a very much of an illusion, because don't tell me about Gates in the UK. Tell me about Gates
It
worldwide.
is.
Star. Tell me that.
Yeah,
Tell me the
certainly.
whole story. Don't tell me
Yeah,
half the
certainly.
story. And
Okay, so
go ahead.
um, I've heard like a Deontay Wilder, and he said it himself that about the whole UK fit inside New York or whatever it may be. But yet, for me, that's a lot more people in America, and I know it's further to travel and everything, but that's a lot more people. So if you could fit UK in one or two states, then surely those one or two states should have about the same amount of people and can
Okay.
get to a venue.
Well, okay.
Or
If Deontay Wilder is showing on Showtime, and that's across the whole of America,
yeah,
and then you've got Anthony Joshua, who's fighting in the UK predominantly.
yeah,
I know he fights. I know he's on Showtime. He's showing in Showtime in America.
yeah,
But I think probably more people know Deontay Wilder, despite what Eddie Hearn likes to tell you, than
mm,
people know of Joshua.
yeah,
Here's this. Check this out. Here's this. I did it in. I don't know if you heard the interview with Butterbean I did.
yeah. I
Um,
did.
they live. Now I didn't. I wasn't prompting that interview. I didn't push anything. I didn't. I literally picked up the phone and rang him. And that's how this is how it came out. He talked about. He knew who Wilder was. He knew who Larry Holmes was. He knew who Mike Tyson was. He knew who Tyson Fury was. But he
Mm,
had no clue who Anthony Joshua was. And Joshua is the unified champion.
mm. But at the same time, though, I mean, in reality, it shouldn't really be even a debate between Wilder and Joshua as to who's more popular in America. It should be a landslide victory for Wilder. But unfortunately, people
Not
have these
really.
debates.
Not really.
It should be.
Not
I mean,
really, because
he has.
if boxing was as popular in the UK as it was in the US, I'd agree with you. But it isn't. And a lot of these people who comment about boxing, they haven't got a passport and never traveled outside the country to see America and understand the diversity in America and
Mhm.
understand sports in America. Look, I'll give you an example. When I leave here and I go to Australia to coach cricket,
Yeah.
the difference is Australia got some fantastic. First of all, their kids finish school like when they're I think 19, so they stay in school till 18 or 19,
Yeah.
right? That's mandatory. That's not voluntary. That's mandatory.
Yeah.
They finish 3:30, and then from school they go straight on to go to a outdoor center where they do sports coaching or sports training, right? And the mentality of sports are different, and they've got various different sports. Cricket is not the number one sport. They've got the rugby, they've got the derby for they've got their own, they've got so many different other sports apart from cricket. So when you talk about funding for cricket, it's so different. So cricket is not a main priority. So when I went out there to do cricket,
Mm-hmm.
certain things weren't in place, like for funding and for um, facilities. Like most of the facilities I was playing with doing cricket on in Australia, if you were to do it over here in the UK, you get laughed at. They were playing on plastic pitches. Most of their first team matches would be played on plastic pitches.
Mm.
Whereas in the UK, if I said to you, let's go and play on a plastic pitch, they'll ask me, where's the rain? You understand? Because
Yeah.
our artificial, what are we playing artificial 3-day games on artificial wicket for? You know? So the
Yeah.
mentality. So using that in boxing terms, in the UK, boxing's a big thing. In the US, boxing's not a big thing anymore because a lot of those guys who are boxers, they're making more money being NBA stars or basketballers. Why do I want to get my head punched in when I can make money being a basketball star or you know doing basketball or doing something else instead? Or you know I can run around in tights and do WWE. I don't have to get my head punched in.
Oh yeah,
You know what I mean?
certainly. Yeah, certainly.
So
But
there's more options out in America. And you know it yourself that a lot of these American guys, all these big, tall heavyweights that were yesteryear, are now going into basketball because they're getting paid more money.
oh, of course, of course. You know,
NBA is a big thing now. So, um,
whereas here in the UK, NBA isn't well, basketball isn't it's not popular at all.
exactly.
But I mean,
Basketball, baseball, ice hockey, um, WWE, UFC, so
yeah,
many options there compared to the UK and so many more options to make money.
okay. But the thing is,
School,
if you were to
yeah,
look at it from, let's say, you had the time of Mike Tyson, George Foreman return, and Tommy Morrison, Evander Holyfield, etc., etc. That was a very, very good era for boxing.
yes.
Something happened where it died in America,
You can
with the
blame
exception
the other
of
thing.
maybe Floyd Mayweather. But
You
for
yeah,
me, people
they
like
turned on
Wilder, I mean, as an
the
example,
Mayweather era. The Mayweather era was the change. You've got to
mhm,
remember the Mayweather era changed a lot. The Mayweather era is where one fighter made a whole load of money, a stack load of money, and
yeah,
a fighter came up with the narrative of if you're not unbeaten, then you're not worth shit.
mm,
The record of the O and not letting it go, that sort of stuff,
yeah, yeah.
was an era.
Mhm.
Post that, how many fighters do you know today that are prepared to promote themselves the way Floyd did?
Oh, very few. I mean, Wilder's
How many
trying.
personalities do you have in boxing like Floyd was? They all want to get paid,
Yeah,
but a
yeah.
lot of them got no personality. They can fight, but they've got no personality.
Well, this is the thing. You see,
Boxing.
in America, you've got Canelo and
Okay,
a guy
and
who doesn't speak English. He's got zero personality.
he doesn't want to speak English.
Well, maybe he can speak English. He just doesn't choose to.
I'm
Maybe I
convinced.
don't know.
I'm convinced. Look, how many times have I seen Canelo in interviews where the guy's speaking in English to him and he responds in Mexican? I
Mm,
have to know what he's saying. I'm talking to you in English and he responded to me in Mexican.
yeah, yeah.
Exactly what's been said to him. There's no
Well,
earpiece.
I've actually
Right?
seen him speak in English once.
Yeah.
It wasn't
How was
very
it?
good. This is probably about 4 or 5 years ago, and surely to God, his English has improved since then, and it wasn't too bad then.
Okay.
So I
Well
don't
then,
know
okay.
why he chooses not to.
What about Golovkin? His English has not improved since I've seen Golovkin. I mean, his English seems the same.
Well, this is the thing. You see, you have people like Wilder. We can go
Mm-hmm.
back onto the demographics of what's going on in
Yeah.
America. I'm
Yeah.
totally oblivious to it. But for me, if
Okay.
Canelo is a big star, Golovkin is a bigger star than Wilder in America, and Vasyl Lomachenko is certainly becoming one. But yeah, then you've got Wilder, who he's got all the personality in the world. He looks the part and whatever. But yeah, he's been a pro for 10 years. Why is he not head of the tree? He blames racism.
He may have a point. He may have a point because
But
look at it from his perspective. But he doesn't do himself, I have to say, he doesn't do himself any favors because some of the statements he makes are not sponsorer friendly.
no. But would it be fair to say then that maybe it's a
But you know,
he,
okay, you three guys you mentioned, Canelo,
yeah,
you said it yourself, Canelo.
Golovkin and Vasyl Lomachenko
No,
is starting to get there.
hold on, hold on. You mentioned three guys there.
Yeah.
How,
Sorry, say again.
how many of them are American?
None of them are American.
Well, there you go.
Well, I say
There you
that.
go.
A Golovkin, he's
Eastern
got
European, Eastern European, and Mexican. How many of them are American?
yeah. Oh, yeah,
Right,
of
you
course,
mentioned
and we can say the same thing about Kovalev in there as well.
yeah,
But
okay. So then, how many of them are how many of them are African American?
African American, none. I know Kovalev and Triple G have partial nationality there, but okay, I mean, we can certainly say that. But at the same time, Floyd Mayweather, African American, and he was a star. So
He was a star. Okay, how many others? Okay, and all the time even when Floyd Mayweather was around, Floyd Mayweather still never got the credit because every time we talk Floyd, Pacquiao got more respect than Floyd.
true.
Okay, Pacquiao got more respect than Floyd. Golovkin got more respect than Floyd. Canelo got more respect than Floyd. So
But but again, you see, you can kind of argue that as well that Floyd maybe did that on purpose, being the bad guy.
Floyd made more money than all those guys you're talking about. He's
Yeah,
made more than all those guys.
that's the reason why.
And
So people tuned in to watch him lose. Whereas I think with say Wilder, as I said, he's got the look and he's got the gift of the gab, but he's only getting the gift of the gab now. Why wasn't he doing this a few years ago? People like Wilder, people like I don't know, maybe even like Andre Ward need to take some kind of responsibility that they allowed, and Floyd Mayweather,
no,
that they
stop.
allowed boxing to go on the
Ward,
slide.
Ward, I blame his PR. I put squarely in front of Ward is PR, and I'm unrepentant about that.
Mm,
I think his PR was absolutely terrible. When Ward should have been getting lots more PR and doing lots more interviews, his PR blocked it. I don't know if his PR was boxing related, knew what she was talking about, knew what she was doing. But I blame her wholly. You sometimes boxers leave their PR in charge of situations, and I can tell you now, there's a few boxers I know that needed interviews, they needed exposure, and the PRs were absolute shite. Now you look at someone like Wilder, he needs PR. But the thing is, Wilder's got a situation where he's speaking his mind, and his mind and his honesty, his brutal honesty, doesn't do him any favors, even if it's truth. And he hasn't got that Floyd Mayweather. He hasn't got that Floyd Mayweather thing behind him. Do you understand?
hmm
You know, people that were behind Floyd, he had a mastermind behind him. You got to ask yourself why Wilder hasn't got that.
Well, again,
You know,
I think that Wilder, he's got the same thing that Floyd had, whereas Floyd was quite willing to go out to be the bad guy, but he knew how to do it.
mm-hmm.
Wilder just thinks by acting, I don't want to be rude about him, but acting a cock or acting racist at times is not the way
Do
to
you
do
think
it.
he's acting racist, or do you think he is being triggered by what he sees? I told you earlier on when I mentioned
Oh,
about
both.
Americans and what they see when they see someone like Eddie Hearn.
Hmm
Give you an example, right? I gave an example almost what a minute ago about Eddie, or a couple of minutes ago about Eddie Hearn, how he
hmm
said, "Oh yeah, he's walking around America and he asked who's Deontay Wilder," but he never turned around and said who's Anthony Joshua.
hmm
That sort of deceptive, deceiving, the masses. That stuff right there. They see it in America. They've seen it come. And when they see someone like Hearn come along, people think Hearn's new. Hearn ain't new. It's a practice that he's seen all the time. So
Yeah, of
when what
course.
the way he's responding, he's responding based on stuff that's been done before, maybe to him and his family. So it's not Hearn. It's not Eddie Hearn the person. It's the characteristics, untrustworthy,
Hmm.
deceit, two-faced, backstabbing. That those sort of behaviours trigger things off, not just within white people, but in characters in general. It's not just a black or white thing. It's a
Yeah.
character. You understand? So I'm not sitting here and
Oh,
telling
certainly.
you, yeah, I'm not sitting down and telling you that Wilder is an angel. There's a lot of things he does is quite cringeworthy. Some things he says, I'm like, no, you just shouldn't say that.
Yeah.
And just when you begin to support Deontay Wilder and saying, yeah, he's right about the whole Joshua thing, then he comes out and says something about putting somebody in a body bag and seeing him dead. I mean,
Yeah.
that sort of stuff. It's just not tasteful. And you can be a savage and you can be a beast and you can say all these things, but at the end of the day, there's a line. When you go over that line, it becomes distasteful. So I don't
Yeah.
know.
No, I mean, for me, I mean, him
He,
saying how he wants a body on his record, I mean, yeah, it's certainly cringeworthy. And, it is overstepping the line, but just him saying it
but having
is
said
no
that,
different to him
Mike Tyson,
thinking it and trying to
wait,
do it.
but
Yeah,
Mike,
exactly.
similar things. Mike Tyson said he wanted to hit somebody, punch him in the nose, and let the nose things go up into someone's brain. Remember he said that?
Yeah.
Mike said,
Yeah, yeah.
so I don't know.
No, he did.
People
I mean,
look
for
at
me,
things, right?
I don't mind the trash talk. I don't mind that kind of thing. I mean, if he says he wants a body, he can say it all he wants. It doesn't mean he's going to get it. And if he can say it, doesn't mean he's not thinking it while he's in the ring. But for me, it's the whole my thing where I'm thinking that he has a severe issue with racism. I don't know what he's gone through in his life. Maybe he's been racially abused for years
Hold on a
as a
second.
kid.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Are you aware of Alabama? Are you aware of Alabama? And
I
his
haven't heard of Alabama
story of
outside of the
Alabama.
song or Forrest Gump. That's about as much as I know about
Well,
Alabama.
you need to go and really look at the stuff in Alabama, and um, and I want to go back to the Anthony Joshua thing. It really pees me off because I'm a black man. Everyone sees I'm a black man. I had no problems with what Joshua was saying. From one black man to another man, that's just common talk. That's nothing special. Nothing.
Yeah,
What he said wasn't nothing untoward. It was just one
sure.
black man to another black man, and that was it. That's
Mm,
it. It's something that is said every day in the community from one black man to another. I've heard it said numerous of times.
yeah,
I've been called Uncle Tom at times. So, it's nothing new. The
sure.
people
But
affected and most offended by it are those people not even in the community. And to be honest, there are people that are not black that are
mm,
offended by it. But it was
sure.
between two black people. So for me, those people just stirring things up. And you can call it political all you want, but real talk is real talk. One person from the community,
Mm,
another person in the community. It's like two Indian people having a conversation about caste system. One's lighter, one's darker, and they both have a conversation. It's none of my goddamn business them to have a conversation. If they bring my name into that equation, then we have a conversation. And these people who are offended, first of all, why are you so goddamn nosy in the first place? And secondly of all, that conversation between AJ and Eddie Chambers was between AJ and Eddie Chambers. It wasn't between AJ and the world. It wasn't tweeted out publicly. It was a conversation between AJ and Eddie Chambers. So as far as I'm concerned, whatever Joshua was saying to Eddie Chambers is what it is. It's not been swept under. People say it's been swept under the carpet, but it is what it is.
yeah,
And people offended about it look at the people who they are and where they're coming from. But black people don't get offended by it, and it's two black people that were talking. That's the truth. If two Russians sit down and said it to one another, then it's nobody else's goddamn business. Personally, it's just people that are looking for an angle. An angle. People in this community, in this world, are so hypocritical, and some of them have never. This is truth. This is true words I'm saying here. Some of the people who have a problem with that superior race comment between Joshua and Wilder, of Joshua and Eddie Chambers, have never even associated themselves around black people. Some of those same people are the same sort of people that will see a black person down the street and walk the other side of the road, or roll up the window, or hold a clenched handbag, or pretend they don't see you in the street. This is real talk. This is what really happens in the world. But
Of course.
focus on that. They won't focus on that. They'll focus on two people having a conversation which is none of their business, and focus on that. And that shows you the mentality of some people, and some of those people don't even like people of another skin tone. So for me, when I listen to that stuff, it's very much almost hypocritical.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Because the two people say, "Oh, he said something about the superior race." Hold on, I don't like black people anyway. So, or these are the same people that will be in the media who are writing negative things about communities, negative things about a community. So I don't pay much stock in it. It just annoys me when I hear people come with this superior race comment,
Mm.
because if you were to go behind and find out who they were asking the question, and then asking the question, okay, so how many people, how many people do you associate with in your community that are black? And then, if so, how many times have you heard them have a conversation? How much do you really know about the black community? And I'm not talking about the stereotypical things you see on television. Because if you really delve within the black community, you'll see that that kind of conversation is an everyday thing, and just walk past it. It's an everyday thing.
No,
You
I agree
understand?
with you. Yeah, I
I
agree with you.
felt that affect my
But
life.
I mean, there's like a one kind of flip side to it, I suppose, as well. That Joshua has
Uh-huh.
a lot of haters in America,
Yeah, of course.
a, a lot of haters. But as soon as they heard that comment, they became 24-hour fanboys.
So you going back to Joshua thing. Yeah, but I think people only hate because they've looked at Lennox Lewis, and it doesn't help when someone like Lennox Lewis says, "Yeah, they should be fighting."
Mm.
It
Oh,
doesn't help.
yeah, of course. But I mean, as soon as Anthony Joshua did that superior race message to Eddie Chambers, and yeah, okay, so Chambers, he did release it to the world and people
Uh-huh.
will jump on it. But a lot of the people who were criticizing and hating Joshua and being very negative about him, as soon as they heard that, became Joshua fans for a period of 24 hours. You know, it's odd. So it does flip it, but at the same time, I mean, for me, I think that Wilder doesn't help himself. Um, Not just because he says a lot of things about Eddie Hearn, the slave master. It's not that. It's the fact that he said UK is a home for racists, and they're waiting for the opportunity to turn on Joshua.
Okay. Now, now, if Wilder was speaking the truth there,
Mhm.
look,
But how would Wilder know for him to say that? I mean, people didn't turn their back on Bruno. The press did when he went through his mental
yeah,
health, and they
did
were
it?
absolute scumbags for that. But Nigel Benn, he's
Okay,
always had a fan
but
base.
okay. We are going slightly out of the boxing realm, but just for a second, they'll just look at this situation with Markle and the royal family.
Right.
That people would say if she was blonde haired and blue eyed, there'd be no problems. That marriage would be swimmingly going along. But because she has got some sort of black in her, that's why there's trouble within the royal family. Would you argue with that? Would you say it's yes or no?
I'm not going to disagree with it. I mean, I don't read
Okay.
too much into what's going on there, but for me, I think it wouldn't surprise me,
Okay. Well,
to
here's
be
another
honest,
thing. Let me
if
ask you
there is
a
problems.
question. Let me ask you a question. Do you think it would be acceptable to have a black prime minister in the UK?
Absolutely.
You think it would be acceptable? Do you think it's going to happen?
I hope so.
No, no, no. I ask you if you hope so. Do you think it's
But
possible?
yeah, I think one day, I think, I mean, if you can
Why,
have
why, why, why is he
a
not? Why
woman
is he
prime
not? Why
minister,
is it? Why won't he? Why can't it happen next? Why can't the next prime minister be Asian or be black or be mixed?
I don't know. Does anybody try? I have no idea. I mean,
Well, there may be reasons why. I mean, these are just questions that people who are of who are not in a position where they can just walk through a door, without being questioned. These are questions that someone like Deontay Wilder will ask, and the Americans, they don't care. They'll just come and say it straight out. So when he says these things, you'll point to things and say, "Oh well, the England football team, they've got a lot of black players there now. But then I heard not too long ago people saying there are too many black players in the England side. Okay, and then you go further and say, all right, fine. If you want to stretch it that way, how many black managers are there in the UK in football?
Hmm. Oh, of course. Of
Well,
course. I mean, there's plenty of different ways of
so
looking at it, but again, we can flip it around where, people from the outside looking in towards America,
mhm.
where people like Wilder and whoever go on about, the Black Lives Matter movement and all this kind of thing, and that's
Yeah, but
great.
even of
But
course, I
they
mean,
had they had a
you
black
know,
president, so surely the problem can't be that bad. So again, people will say that.
yep. But then the black people will turn and say, yeah, they had a black president, but he did nothing. But the argument would be, well, what did he do for us? That's you can never please some people, but and I think that was a point in America, and it was a great point. But even when he was in office, he was being racially abused when he was in office, and a lot of the Americans saw that he was
Oh,
getting
for
caught.
sure. Because I think a lot of people, as far as I could tell, obviously I don't know this for a fact. I don't follow UK politics too well, so I certainly can't comment too much on American. But I think Obama was so worried about um, being seen as pro-black
Yeah,
that he avoided it. Like Jack
well, there
Johnson,
you go.
he didn't pardon him, maybe because he thought, well, if he did, he's only doing it because he's a black man himself.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
much like because Obama's father was Muslim, he avoided the
uh-huh,
whole Muslim thing.
uh-huh.
He
Yeah, of course.
purposely
But
went to Jerusalem to go into, meet the Pope and like things like that. But he didn't do it
yeah,
with the Palestinians.
yeah, of course. You see, at the end of the day, sporting. At the end of the day, these conversations need to be had, and if they're not had, if we don't have open these debates and have these conversations as we're having a debate here back and forth, what happens? People shut these conversations down, and then people go elsewhere to have their conversations. And what happens then is that you get hatred groups because people feel that their voice is not being heard. You get people being very angry and bottled up, and then you get race wars because
Mm-hmm.
people want justice
Mm-hmm.
because conversations are not flowing. You know, and then one of the things that people do a lot is say, I do support LDBC. Well, if the people in the room look like myself, it's very difficult to say, well, I don't support them. I might not agree with some of the points that I made,
Mm.
but I don't, I want to distance myself from it, far from it.
Mm.
It is, you know.
But
Um,
don't you think that everybody should be held accountable when you're in the public eye? You should be held accountable for racist remarks, no matter what skin tone you are. Everybody can be racist. It doesn't matter.
well,
So
see, now there are people who disagree with you in this. Everybody can
yeah, I
be
know there
racist.
are. Yeah.
Now, this is just a statement. People say, well, people that control the money, the people that control the laws, and the people that are able to, um, yeah, people who control the laws and control the money are the real racists because they can stop you getting certain jobs, they can stop you getting certain positions, and they can make laws to make your life hell.
Hmm.
You're real racist.
Yeah. Oh, certainly. I mean, but
So if you can and the example I was given is if you can look at a person of color who can change law
mhm,
in a fashion, or a person of color who has got that so much money that can influence, then
mhm,
all of them are racist.
yeah. But again, I mean, don't you think that many people who call others racist may not quite understand racism in itself?
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. I understand that. Um,
But it's like, okay, let's give you an example here. So you're a big football fan, right? Like soccer.
yeah,
Now, so you could probably go back many years and see the abuse that the likes of John Barnes used to get at
Barnes.
Liverpool.
Yeah,
Yeah, and Grobbelaar and, all these kind of things, at West Ham especially. And
yeah, of course.
so it was terrible back then. That
hmm I remember.
remember
I
the
remember.
racial
I
slurs of
remember.
Paul Ince and that.
I remember in the UK where we had people of color being hosed down by the police and having dogs sit on them. This is in
Yeah,
the
yeah.
80s, tourism and the cricket.
Yeah.
That was very iconic images there. The Brixton riots. You
Yeah.
know, yep. Go ahead.
But you see, this is the thing. So the FA, I mean, if you look at it now, anybody chanting, I mean, I remember like I seeing things on TV, like the crowd doing monkey chants to like Paul Ince and that.
Of
You
course.
see, I remember all that. But anybody found doing it now, you're banned for life. As in, listen, you can never eradicate it, and it's unfortunate. You can never eradicate these people's weak mentalities or just hatred on the world. But the English FA are doing what they can to try and do it. As in, they're doing what they can to make steps. Maybe not good enough, but still, they're
Listen,
doing what they can. But in
listen,
boxing,
listen.
nothing gets
The
done.
English FA are full of shit.
Of course they
English
are.
FA are full of shit. Listen, Collins was a manager. Was he Blackburn Rovers?
So yes, he was. Yeah, yeah,
What happened to him?
and Wimbledon as well.
Yeah,
Blackburn.
what happened to him? Okay, there are managers. I mean, I'd like to see how many. There's so many black managers or talented footballers who did, could be managers or
Mhm.
people of. How many people of color? Doesn't have to be black. How many people of
Mhm.
color, non-white, are managers in England from the UK?
I couldn't even tell you to
But
be
one of the
honest.
ways you stamp up racism. One of the ways you stamp up racism is to have more people of color
Mm.
as managers.
Oh, I agree, but I
That's how you
mean,
stamp up.
do people
You don't prolonging
do
it.
yeah? But I mean, like, do black people, do Asian people, or do they want to be managers? Do they try? I don't know.
Well, let me ask you a question. That's the question should be: do they want to be managers? Are the gateways there for them to be managers? That's the question. And because systems are in place to block them being managers, that's the case. I think.
I mean,
System,
unfortunately, for me, people don't think the way that I do. I'm not saying I'm right,
yeah,
but
yeah.
people don't have the same kind of equality, I suppose. Right word, wrong word, don't they?
Let
But
me
for
ask you
me,
this.
I would want to
Let me
employ
ask you.
somebody based on skill set rather than skin
Okay.
tone.
Let me ask you a question. Those at the very. I asked you a question. I said to you before about somebody made a statement about racism and who the racists are. Those who've got power and they can change the laws. Okay,
Sure.
those who can give opportunities and take them away. At the very top of the F, what does it look
I couldn't even tell you to be honest. I don't know any of them outside of
like? Okay,
what Trevor
well,
Brookins. I
okay,
have no
okay.
idea.
How many people of color? How many people of color at the top of the FA?
I couldn't tell you one.
Right, and these are the lawmakers. How many
Mm.
people of color at the top of the cricket world in the UK?
I couldn't even tell you a black cricketer, to be honest,
Okay, okay,
and
okay. All right, okay,
British golfer as well. I couldn't tell you a black British golfer.
okay. Yeah, go ahead. Name me somebody in the top of tennis organization who's of color.
I don't, I don't know anybody up there.
Oh, okay, okay. So that's okay. And name me somebody. Yeah, this is it. So these are the people, that mindset, who are making the decisions. And when you have somebody of color in a position of authority,
Hmm.
you have to be careful that not anybody,
Yeah, yeah,
but who and understands the doors opening and closing and the effects. Let's say, look, let's open the door here, let's open the door here, let's open the door here. Do you know what? It starts making people feel uncomfortable.
hmm,
That when they're at the top, they can say, "Oh yeah, we've given you opportunities to work at second and third division football. We don't want you in Premiership."
sure.
You know what I mean?
We see that on
That's what it's about.
we
You need
see
to
that on
have
the world
people.
stage though as well. We see that on the world
What's that?
stage. If we go back to football, we can see that on the world
Yeah,
stage. You look at FIFA.
yeah,
When you have like countries bidding for each other to host the next World Cup, like Morocco, for example, they put a great thing forward, but America won. So FIFA give the impression that they don't want it in an Arab country. They don't want it in an African country.
there you go. I agree with you.
Well,
Somebody
South
said that.
Africa, okay.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody's talking about Diane Abbott. Now, as I
Who?
said, I'll say to you again, just because somebody has the color black, it doesn't necessarily mean that they fit the job. Being black and having some competence about you does help.
But don't
See,
you find though?
it's yeah.
But don't you find though that when some Asian people get into politics, black people get into politics, and what have you, they do everything they can to make it look like they're not favoring a race. So they're not actually helping the situation.
And if you do have somebody who's favoring their race, what happens?
They get accused. So it's always going to be a catch-22. So, I mean, what's the solution? I don't know. I mean, I know a lot of these people up in FA are as old as the hills. They're as old as Bob Arum. So when these people
There
die
you
off,
go.
hopefully a new breed will come through. Hopefully.
No,
Or,
it won't. It won't. Look, you could look and listen to it. This is the truth. Truth be said for a lot of the situations. LinkedIn is probably one of the worst things created,
mhm,
especially what they do is what people do now on social media is before they employ you, they look at your face. Or they couldn't judge you by your name because if you had a name like Jones, they thought maybe you're Welsh and you were white. And
mhm,
now if you see people go and look at LinkedIn and look at your profile to see if you're black or not.
mhm.
It happens. It does
Of
happen.
course. Of course it happens. And it's unfortunate it happens, but what's the solution?
I don't know. I don't know what the solution is to have more diversity and diversity that actually is prepared to make changes.
Hmm.
Hey, the other day, 3 or 4 years ago, had a conversation with Act for Change. It was to do with diversity within TV, and I asked the guy there. They had a panel. Now, this panel was they were showing all these top people from ITV,
Mhm.
one person of color at ITV. It was all the same old, same old. Then they had the person who the moderator was. She was Indian. Okay, but you may as well have had her. Her mindset was like them because she was
Mhm.
getting paid by
Of course.
anybody who was of color that decided to say, well, hold on, why is it every time we're on television, we're portrayed in such a manner, in such a way? We need more diversity, we need more diverse writers.
Mhm.
Here's a situation. I heard a story once that a very famous black actor, British black actor,
Mhm.
he told how to dress, what music to listen to, and what clothes to buy. Uh, he's basically been told to forget about his culture, to forget about where he's come from, his roots, and then take on the idea of these PR agents that are not from the community.
Mhm.
So then take on a mindset and a behavior that alienates him from this community, the people who have supported him on the way up. So he becomes one of them.
Right.
This is a famous, very famous um, actor, you know?
Yeah, of course. I mean, people, this is what I mean. It's like people will support their own race, I suppose, to a point.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for me, I've been criticised because I'm married to an Arab,
Okay.
okay, a Moroccan, and
Okay.
well, I say criticised. People will, I can tell the sarcasm in their tone, as in
Uh-huh.
why are you with her? Why are isn't it easier for culturally, as in mindset, to be
Uh-huh.
with a British girl rather than an Arab?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
for me, I try to explain to people that I don't judge you by your skin tone. I don't judge you by your religion. We have different religions. Okay, so we may differ, but sometimes I think that makes it more interesting.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I understand why, for example, an Arab will marry an Arab.
Yeah.
I understand why a black person may marry a black person if your ancestry, say, Caribbean, for example, and that's
Yeah.
your
Yeah. Yeah.
upbringing, to reduce the conflict in your house.
Listen, my son's mixed race.
Yeah,
My wife is black. Okay.
yeah,
Uh, and so, I've seen both, like you say, I've seen kind of both sides of the coin. I've been married to my wife for almost 8 years now, and
hmm,
she's American. Um, and people would say to Chris, one side of the community would say to me, "Oh, great, you're married to a black woman. You're keeping it in the community." And other people would score me because I had a child with a white woman. You understand?
hmm.
So you know, um, it happens. You do get people like this. You have people that who do this, But at the end of the day, you got to do what's best for you, and you just got to do what's going to suit you. Because ultimately, these people are not going to be living your marriage out for you. These people are not going to, they're not. They're not. They're going to get on and do their own things, and often they do certain things, they say certain things, and they do completely opposite afterwards. Oh, you
Yeah.
shouldn't get outside your race, and they end up doing it.
Yeah, of course. But I mean, unfortunately, you have, this whole Brexit thing doesn't help matters, though, does it? It really doesn't. You see, I mean, I know some people did it just so they're not seen as owned by the EU for like the head of, which is headed by Germany. So they
Yeah.
want out of that. So UK on its own. But there are a lot of people, and it is unfortunate that they voted it due to racism. They don't like foreign, all that kind of thing. But people from the outside who wanted to maybe stay in the EU, or people outside the country, will then look at. So maybe this is where Wilder got it from. To say, well, you as a country voted out, so therefore you could be racist. Because there are some people
No,
who did
no,
vote,
no,
isn't there?
no, 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 no. I think Wilder. There's many reasons why Wilder probably feels that way. Wilder's got family in the UK, remember, as well.
Oh,
So
is it?
Wilder, he does. All right, and Wilder fought here as well, didn't he? He fought here as an amateur. Right? I'm correct.
I don't know about an amateur, but I know he fought Audie Harrison here.
No, and he fought as an amateur as well.
Oh, okay.
I interviewed Wilder the day of, or the night before the fight of Audie Harrison. And did you know I went to college with Audie Harrison?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, me and Audie sat in the same class together. And I used to do his, I used to help him do his work.
Okay.
Before he did his exams, he used to go and do his amateur boxing. Did you know Harrison's manager was is my cousin? She managed him until he was unbeaten, and then left him when just before he went and fought the Danny Williams fight.
Oh, really?
Did you know that?
No, I don't know any of that.
Yeah, there you go. So that's some information for you there as well.
Yeah, it is.
So I could tell you, I could tell you this country at times, sort of stitch ups and things that happen behind the scenes. People see, oh, all he was, he had all the skill in the world, but he had no heart. There's some stories I tell you. If I told you some of those stories, your jaw would drop open.
Yeah.
Audley wasn't as he should have been, but I'll tell you this much, and I've said it before, and I'll say it again. And I was given revelation to this before the Danny Williams fight. As Audley was in the dressing room, his wife was doing shoot his laces up for him before he fought before he fought Danny Williams the first fight.
Hmm.
What does that tell you?
Well, something ain't right, is it?
Your wife is doing your boxing boots up before you go to fight. So it wasn't right. The whole setup wasn't right. She walked away from it all. So
Is that
people.
is it is that to do with Matchroom?
Pardon?
Is that to do with Matchroom?
No.
Oh,
Audley
okay.
before they fought Danny Williams. Audley was self-promoted. Remember? He was the guy that
I don't
started
know. I thought that
self-promotion
he was
stuff.
with
Remember?
Eddie Hearn for quite a while. I don't really
That's
like to.
afterwards.
Oh, was it?
That
Okay.
was afterwards. That was afterwards. Audrey was unbeaten. And it was, he had that deal with BBC, that £1 million deal.
Right.
Yeah. And he did his own. He basically did um, his own promotions, A Force promotions, or what they call A Fast promotions. Every fight he had, he was being criticised for the opponents he was fighting and stuff. He was getting criticised. He was Olympic champion, doing his own thing, and not being signed by the major promoters. So he was getting the money, and the promoters hated that, and they hated him. They really hated on him.
Hmm.
Yeah. It was difficult for Wardley. Wardley was the guy that opened the door for Kawasaki Promotions and Hamid Promotions and Hatton Promotions. Wardley was the one.
Hmm.
Wardley had to suffer for it, and that boy suffered a lot from it. He
Hmm.
suffered so much. I saw him in London about a year ago. It's Wardley. He didn't even know who I was. He didn't even know who I was. He didn't even remember. It took him a long while for him to actually register and remember the time we had in Tottenham.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, my cousin said, and they were together. My cousin said she saw him in Vegas, and she looked at Audley. Audley walked straight past him like if Audley didn't know her.
Is that down to wrong fight? It's too much beans, or is this a mental health
I
because of the stress? And
don't know, no idea, no idea, no idea. And it wasn't because you see people you blank them because you don't like him. Weren't one of them ones. It
yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
one of them. So
Oh, poor guy.
it's an interesting, yeah, it's an interesting. So we talk about. I just did that. It's interesting. We can talk about these different topics. We
Mm,
see. We know the full story as to what happened. We just get and boxing fans. We just get the fight, and then we build analysis based on that.
mm,
Lacey, when we interviewed Jeff Lacey, he was rushed into that fight of Joe Kazaki. He wasn't ready. He wasn't ready for the
oh,
Kazaki fight.
I see.
But
I
what we
kind of thought he
see is
was
Joe
because
Kazaki.
he come across as like really confident, and he kind of wanted to fight. And
Yeah, no, because that was just because he wouldn't back down. That was him being bold and a brute, and I'm the man and stuff. But inside he weren't ready. He knew he weren't ready. He even admitted in the interview we did with him, he wasn't ready.
mm,
And when people used to talk about Lacey being like Mike Tyson, he said when I interviewed him, I was the first interviewer to ever ask him the question about the Mike Tyson thing. It was media hype. He said he hated it, but his promoters basically went with the whole Mike Tyson thing to build an aura about him.
mm.
It wasn't Mike Tyson. I didn't want to be Mike Tyson. I resented the fact that people thought me as being Mike Tyson.
Oh,
Interesting, that.
yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting. I mean, are you privy to any of the kind of obviously like if you know something, obviously you can't say, but
Yeah.
do you know some kind of like backdoor dealings as to why Frank Warren is hated by a lot of people behind the scenes, as in court cases, justifiably, unjustifiably? Because what I hear quite a lot of, and see, I never really read newspapers back in the day because for me, I
Yeah.
couldn't care less about Frank Warren, so I didn't know about all this stuff. I didn't even know that he'd been shot until a couple of years ago.
Yeah. Kerry Marsh.
See?
I believe it was Terry Marsh.
Well, yeah. I mean, he was accused of it apparently, but
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I mean, are you aware of any of the kind of things that Frank Warren would just sue people on a whim?
I've heard stories about it. Be careful because Frank might do it to me. No, I'm joking. No, I've heard stories about it. I have heard stories, and there's no smoke, but a bit of fire. So I've never had, thank heavens, had to do any boxing dealings with Frank Warren. Or, but yeah, I don't know. But obviously, there's something there because there's obviously court proceedings going on.
Hmm.
So yeah, obviously things going on. Um,
See, this is the thing. It's like a
stuff
lot
I've
of
heard.
people. Yeah, that's the thing. You see, so it's like a lot of people who hate on Eddie Hearn, kind of like they're taking Frank Warren's side without knowing that Frank it can also be untrustworthy. I'm not saying Frank Eddie Hearn is trustworthy at all. I'm not saying that he could
Any
literally
promoter
be
is
a snake.
untrustworthy.
Yeah, but
Every promoter is untrustworthy of boxing, isn't it? So to say. So
well, of
you know,
course, but it's like the Wilder fans. They'll call Eddie Hearn a snake and believe everything that Shelley Finkel says is gospel. But Shelley Finkel has a bit of a dark past as well. So Shannon Briggs is for one.
yeah. It is. Everyone's got their own narrative, and it's just which devil do you want to believe in? I ain't calling one a devil, calling all devils. It's
Yeah,
just which devil. When they had this thing between Clinton and Trump, it's which shit do you want? Do you want
yeah,
the shit or do you want the Trump shit? Which shit are you having? No
yeah,
shit.
yeah.
So this situation with these promoters, it's which shit do you want? Which
Yeah.
devil do you want? How do
That
you
is
want to be
true.
screwed?
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly.
So
Either way, you're going to pay. So
yeah.
yeah, but
Unfortunately, I'm going to take something back because I have no reason to call Frank Warren the devil.
no,
I have the devil. In fact, I have no reason to call Eddie Hearn a devil. I have no reason to call any promoter a devil because, to be honest, they haven't promoted any of my fights, and you know, ultimately, um, I don't want to find it if they are a devil.
no.
to be honest. So, as far as I'm concerned, if every promoter could be my best friend or for business purposes, I'd be happy. But I'd be every promoter was my best friend because I begin to wonder what kind of individual I was, if you get my meaning.
Of course. But you see, this goes back to your original question about me being solely a Matchroom fan based on like some of the earlier comments that we were getting, and I get them on a daily basis. And the thing is, I don't want Eddie Hearn to be owning the monopoly. I want pressure on him. So I want
Of course,
Frank Warren to do more. I want him to,
competition.
yeah, exactly. Because if Eddie Hearn owns a monopoly, he could get lazy. So the
Of
more
course.
Frank Warren does, the better shows that we get as fans. So I encourage Frank Warren. This is why I criticize where I don't sit back and go, okay, Frank, no problem, Frank. I'm like, no, give me more.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I totally agree with you there. What was quite disappointing the other day was Frank Warren not being at Billy Joe Saunders' side. I was pissed with that actually.
Yeah. Although I did have to laugh when they had the head-to-head face-offs, and for the photo opportunity, Eddie Hearn put his hand on Billy Joe's shoulder and smiled and say, "Hello, Frank."
Oh, that's not. I don't know. I don't know about that. I really. I would like. I'd still. I'd see. I still love to do a head-to-head Frank Warren versus Eddie Hearn. That'd be great. Sit down and have. I'd also like to have Frank Warren, Eddie Hearn, Mick Hennessy, and all the other promoters around the table. Just what they think about boxing. Love to do.
I think they'll all gang up on Eddie Hearn, to be honest with you. I think that's probably what they'd do. I mean, I'm surprised that Coogan hasn't done that. You know, he has access to both Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren. Why not do a sit-down round table, and just do it? I don't know why he doesn't do it. Or maybe one of them
Okay,
don't want to do it.
I've got to pull up somebody here. Somebody says, I'm watching this from 47 minutes back, but I disagree that loud fighters are the only fighters that sell in America. Oscar and Manny. Okay. Oscar De La Hoya, Olympic gold medalist, Hispanic. Uh, Manny Pacquiao, Filipino. Yeah, right. Of course. No, I don't think you got my point at all. Again, you've just mentioned two fighters that are non
Non-American.
non American as well. So yeah,
Hmm.
people, they don't really
Yeah.
but it is what it is. You know, it's been great for us to be able to have this conversation, sporting icons. Just be
Hmm.
open and honest. I hope
Yeah,
I've been
definitely.
open. I hope I've been open and I haven't offended by my conversation with you.
Not at all.
Um, I
Not at all.
think
It's been
this
good.
needs to happen more. We haven't been screaming and shouting at one another.
No, no need to. You see, this is what I always say. This is what I always said. It's like one of these channels, um, Blood Boxing. He said that he'd like to have a debate with me, come onto my channel and debate me. And then 78 and like a whole lot of others said, "No, Blood, don't do it. If you're going to do it, we've got to come with you." I'm like, I'm not the big bad boogeyman. I'm not going to rip somebody's head off. I'm always presentable. I'm always
Well, I guess
respectful.
I guess this would answer questions regarding people will look at you and think, "Oh, this is sporting icons." They're going to listen to somebody talk, and then listen to you here, and they go, "Hold on, this is sporting icons. This is not the narrative that I thought it would be."
Yeah.
Ask the question here: is there anything that this is an interesting, slightly question to ask? Is there anything left you want to achieve now in your career? England manager, Arsenal manager. What are you talking about? Are you talking about football here? Or are you talking about coaching career? In terms of coaching career, I'll never get to coach England cricket team. Never. Um, no. But I managed to coach my island, Grenada. Managed to coach that. It was great. I was the assistant manager for that one. It was great. Slotty girl, are you actually a woman or are you a man? I'd love to know. Probably ask why am I asking the question? Because it's always nice because if it's a woman, they see things differently to a man. And yes, yeah, so
Hmm.
you're a woman, a man. Um, my ultimate goal is to achieve my goals, and I'm happy in life that I've been fortunate that every goal I've set out to achieve, I've achieved it. I am a girl. Go ahead. What
I got a
icons?
question for you. So, what's
Yes,
your? Because you've got like a couple of channels, yeah. So,
yes.
what's your? dare I say, ultimate goal as far as YouTube, online, sports entertainment? What's like your ultimate? Is it
Well,
to
first of
be a
all,
promoter, a manager, or just
I think I think first and foremost is to go back to being an online TV station.
okay?
Yep, and having division for each area of the channel
Hmm.
to make sure our media is always telling the truth wherever we do it. So openness and a place where you know what I admire a lot. I admire the Breakfast Club. I love the Breakfast Club. I just love the way the Breakfast Club is set up. And I'll be honest with you. I'll be on the real with you. I believe that I am appreciated more in America than I am in the UK. I believe I'm appreciated more in the Australia than I'm in the UK.
That's because
Ironically,
you report the news as you see it with an unbiased head.
uh, ironically, um, I'm not appreciated as much in the Caribbean as I am in the UK,
Oh, really?
and
Was it?
I'm not because they don't see me as I fit. I don't fit the Caribbean. I'm considered an Englishman, and then the English don't recognize me because they see me as a Caribbean. So in no man's land. In America, I'm probably seen. I'm probably taken. I'm taken. Our work is taken more seriously and appreciated more by the Ukrainians, the Russians, the Americans, more than in the UK.
That's strange.
That's a fact.
Is that this channel for boxing, or are you talking about across the platform?
Um, just for boxing, just for boxing,
Okay.
just for boxing. I think
Mm.
when we look at the stats for the news channel,
Hmm.
that's got a American base. It's got a nice balance between men and women.
Hmm. Mm. It'd be interesting to find out
Yeah,
what it is that um, UK are not buying into you as much as why
I
America
couldn't.
do, and
I
vice versa.
frankly,
And
in terms of the UK, I couldn't give a damn to be honest. Because to be honest, when you think the fact of the matter is, if you want to be great at what you do, you got to go to the states.
hmm,
When you look like me, and I'm not pulling a race card, it is what it is.
right,
There's more opportunities in the states than in the UK, I promise you, and I'll prove my point about that. That there's more
okay,
opportunities in the UK,
okay,
far more, and there's far more examples of it in the US than there are in the UK.
okay.
True,
So you think
but
that
it is what it is.
your platform is ultimately heading towards America?
It already
As
is in
in,
America.
no, what I
It
mean
already
is,
is in America.
no, what I mean is, it's like so your entire platform. I'm talking because you do football and that as well.
Well, that's going to go. The football will probably go.
Yeah,
Football will
I
probably
mean,
go. Yeah,
okay.
football will probably go. Football and cricket will probably go soon.
Oh.
I'm
So do you not fancy doing
farther
like
ahead.
I don't know, promoting or managing boxers or anything like that? You wouldn't consider that, or
I've been offered. I got offered an opportunity to work with a very established trainer and
yeah?
become and to open a gym with him.
Hmm. Was it tempting?
And at one point, I would have done it. Um, when I can get my hands untied, something I would probably do.
Hmm.
There's
So
that. Once I can get my hands untied, but I now can't go to sleep peacefully until I get this over the line. Can't, can't. So now the position where we're looking to get more people on board, the right people on board, family. Um, when I say family, I mean, we've got black, we've got white, we've got Asian, Indian. So it's not a case of I do discriminate. I do discriminate.
mhm.
I discriminate against BS. I discriminate against uh, uh, people who are not trustworthy. I discriminate against people who are two-faced. I do discriminate.
Hmm.
That don't hang around much with me. So,
Yeah.
um,
But this round for round boxing is certainly going to put you in that right direction, isn't it?
wow, round for round boxing. Well, I know. Well, you see, this is to do with relationships. Now, the guy that's second in control, or the second guy, the guy who's really one of the brains behind round for round, apart from Jamie Doherty, who's a great guy, Malky Pablo, Malky Mayweather, he was unbeaten on PlayStation as a boxer. He was Malky Mayweather, and he was on Xbox. He had something like 150 bouts, and he was top online boxer for both on both platforms. Now, I used to actually, when he did his fights on YouTube, I would actually go and commentate on his fights on YouTube. Back then, you know, people think, "Oh, you're stupid. Why'd you do those things?" You see, but small beginnings. That's why I never ever look down on people. Never. Or who are you? I don't know who you are. Look at your view. Some guy the other day came on my channel and said to me, I said to him, I see you've got some products there that'd be really good for other people to know about, natural herbs and stuff. He went to me, oh, what review should like? I said to him, do you know what? You got to do your research. Come back to me when you've done your research. The hell am I going to sell? What the hell am I talking to you about the viewership on our channel for? It's either you want the free or you don't. You know what I mean? So ultimately, to answer your question, I think
I mean, this is
I don't
definitely a
know.
step in the right direction. I mean, not only boxing, but combine that with gaming. I mean, let's be honest, online gaming is the biggest thing in the world.
Can you
It really
imagine?
is.
Just let me picture this for a second. Could you imagine a boxing game with a BTM logo in the ring? Could you imagine that, for example?
We YouTube will no longer be a priority for you. It will no longer be a thought. You wouldn't need it. Let's be real. But yeah, yeah, certainly. I mean, listen, people. I mean, I don't play games and that myself, but
Yeah,
I know how popular games are, and I know how long people have waited for boxing games.
yeah,
So you combine these two, as long as the gameplay is, it doesn't even have to be perfect, as long as it's good. Listen, it's a win-win.
yeah, yeah. Slotty girl, where are you from? And yeah, it's almost like what? How did Messenger used to go? Was it AS?
What's
Was
that?
it? They used to ask a question. They used to ask you how old you were, where you lived, yeah, how old you are, what age you were, what sex you were. All the old school MSN Messenger.
Oh, right, yeah. Yeah, that was the old, yeah, MSN. That was the Hotmail thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You talk to me. ASL, that's it. ASL, that's the one. Age, sex, location. So
Okay.
Slotty girl goes, what did she say? She goes, which is your friend Ingram for round boxing? Is it? Ah, nice. Yeah. Round for round, yeah, I'm excited about it. I'm excited about it. And the game's in development. I've seen some of the graphics on there. Absolutely amazing. Shout out to Marlo's Corner.
Do you know the
So,
budget for it?
but then,
Do you know the budget for it? Because these things ain't cheap to not only make, design, but you got to distribute it.
yeah, 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 yeah. But it's great because, from what I understand, PlayStation get first jobs on it, and then we get it straight after PlayStation.
Oh, okay.
But good. So yeah, I think more stuff will get released shortly. But I've seen the graphics on it, absolutely phenomenal. Blow away the blocky graphics of Fight Night.
Hmm.
Yeah. So what do you, from what you've heard and what you've seen so far of BWTM and the round for round connection, what do you think of it?
I think it's absolutely fantastic. And to be honest, so when you first announced it, I thought, okay, great, you've been sponsored. I thought that's what it was. Like, but then see, I'm looking at it. I'm seeing like Jeff Lacey doing an introduction. I'm seeing like Butterbean. I'm like, holy crap, this is serious. This isn't just a flash in the pan, a couple of weeks sponsorship that sometimes people get an affiliate of. This is a full time. If this thing works, this is explosion territory. So yeah,
Yeah.
big up to you for
Yeah.
that, man. And it's a shame that
Thank you so much.
I mean, it's a shame that YouTube it only looks after the 100K and above channels as
Yeah.
far as sponsorship.
Are we? Yeah, we ain't too worried about that because another thing is this channel has got a very good partnership with it. So we get looked after in different ways. So
Mm.
in that sense, but yeah, once we get our online channel sorted, YouTube will be
Dust.
what it is.
Yeah,
I'll leave it as that.
yeah.
Wait, so Slotty Girls from Brixton. Are you from Brixton?
Okay.
Enjoying this. Yeah, so yeah, it's great, fantastic, and we've got some other big names coming on the channel, and there's some great signings. I had a little message come through from the people from Round for Round today, and they
Mm.
told me next week we'll see some graphical evidence as to what I've been saying.
Okay, so they're going to give you like a few seconds clip to post, or is it just
Yeah,
for your like
something
your
more,
eyes only?
something like that. Devon, slutty girls from Devon. Okay, all right, that's nice to know. I've never been to
Mm.
Devon. I've only heard about the custard down there, but I do have to go and taste the custard.
I see.
Um,
I mean, I was offered the. Do you know that Box Fan Expo?
yes,
Yeah, you see, I was offered that. So, the guy who runs it, he contacted me about
yes,
doing it to help him push it for the UK.
yep,
Now, I was okay with it. There was no money in it or anything like that. I was thinking long term for when it comes to the UK. Then it's going to be popular.
right,
For me, because for me, I couldn't push anything onto the American market. I'm not very well
right.
liked over there. So, and for that, just because I put it in the description, YouTube just refused to play any kind of ads whatsoever. I was like, right, so now I'm actually going to have to let this go. So yeah, I couldn't do it anymore. And
Dang.
yeah, and now since then I've seen behind the gloves and other people actually advertising it now. So
Yeah,
yeah,
we've got
it was
on
me.
BWT.
Yeah, so it was me, Boxing Ego, and Dante. We were the first three offered.
Okay. Well, guess what? Now we're going to be at that event as it goes.
Well, in Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
BWTM is going to be there anyway, so that'll be fun.
Yeah, it's just a shame that YouTube got funny about it. But
YouTube gets funny about a lot of things. If I say something too much, maybe they might do something on that as well. The other thing I'm a bit concerned about is Twitter
mhm.
and how it's been closed down. And I had my YouTube channel closed down for a little time, and I
Hmm.
didn't run, and they closed my channel down. That's a bit interesting, isn't it?
Hmm. So what is that? Is this well, I mean, these are just haters, though, aren't they? I mean, it depends on what you do and what you say. I mean, for me, I always keep within the community guidelines, so people can complain as much as they like. I do cross the line on Twitter at times, so I'm surprised I haven't been reporting on Twitter. But yeah, I've heard of quite a few people, actually quite a few channels, and they're blaming Matchroom for it.
Oh,
Now,
interesting, eh?
call me a Matchroom, man. I couldn't see why Eddie Hearn would want to do that, or why, say, Frank Warren or PBC would want to do that.
Well, the story well, somebody was talking about it, and they almost slipped up and said that, yeah, I was about to get paid to be a troll.
Really?
Yeah,
Somebody,
that
who
person
was
slipped and said it. And when they said that, I was like, ah, there you go, gotcha.
okay? Is this um, a Hearn business thing then, or is it a Frank
No,
Warren
it's
or?
actually it's actually it was actually somebody who somebody actually is supposedly an insider, and they said this, and they said, oh yeah, I had the opportunity to become a troll. So
Damn,
yeah,
so these promotion companies, whichever one it is, are paying just regular Joes to just go out there and just troll, or paying
the
channels to troll.
soon I don't know, but the sooner I the sooner we can have our own channel, the better. And there's a few things that I honestly feel. Um, I don't. I have to be honest. I like the chat section, but sometimes it can be cringeworthy. I
Hmm.
think chat sections can be very rude as well. You're having a conversation, a debate about, let's say we're talking about Wilder versus Joshua. There's
Hmm.
somebody in a conversation about Billy Joe Saunders versus Brooks.
Hmm.
I'm like, I just find that so damn rude. I just get it. So
Yeah.
I find, why does that happen?
I think people like to argue. I think it's like boxing fans see it as a privilege, and it is a privilege. Online is a privilege where you're free to be maybe who you're not in real life, especially especially when you've got a keyboard in front of you. You can be anybody you want. You could be the toughest guy in the world or the most sensible guy in the world with a sensible head on. But that sensible head doesn't mean you're a sensible person in real life. You could have got yourself riddled with debt. You could have been done for wife beating. You don't know, do you? You don't know who
Yeah,
anybody is.
no,
So these people who just go back and forwards on, I mean, I see the same names popping up on a Sky Sports live stream or a Matchroom live stream or whatever else it may be, saying the same thing. I've, I swear, I've seen some commenters going onto these live chats and just repeating over and over again, and this is over a course of months, saying Wilder forgot leg day. Just keep repeating that over a series of months on different.
that's
I'm
when you
like,
know they're trolls. That's when you know they're trolls.
yeah,
You know how you break down a troll. Ask them to break down a fight.
yeah, that's true.
Say, okay, talking. I say, all right, fine. That's what you believe. Break down a fight for me. Conversation. That's when I know they're a troll.
Yeah, that's it. Well, I think a lot of people just want attention. I mean, unfortunately, I do kind of get the impression that a lot of people see us as celebrities, but we're not. We're not celebrities, are we?
Yeah.
We don't get paid. We're not on TV. We don't get sponsorship. We don't get anything like that. So to come on to your social media and send you hate is ridiculous.
What I can't
Um,
stand is the hypocrisy, like contradiction. I'll come on your channel here and slam you for making comments that say, "Oh, you got that prediction wrong. You got that wrong. You didn't get that right. Your facts ain't correct there." To
mm,
allow and all the rest to talk absolute garbage week in week out and not check them once for it or write into the sky or pull them off the channel. I don't get that. I don't understand.
yeah,
So people being accessible makes people feel that they're familiar with you, and familiarity breeds contempt.
yeah, of course. And have you noticed as well, though, that everybody knows how to run your channel better than you do?
Well, I know they got people here that want to give me constructive criticism. You know my answers to them?
Yeah, yeah.
Constructive criticism. It's a bit of an oxymoron. How can you be constructive and give constructive criticism with no subscribers and no channel?
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
Like you're telling me, you know, 2.5, almost 2.5 million views and X amount of subscribers. You're
And
telling me,
longevity.
and longevity, you're telling me. So I had one joke that came in one day, ha ha ha, you've only got 5,000, you've only just hit 5,000 subscribers. Well, why have you looked at the other channel? This is a
Mm,
secondary channel. They don't want to hear that. And
yeah.
the other channel's got 2.8 or 2.5 billion views. Also, like on YouTube, YouTube's very sly. Now, my channel said the channel today, I announced it held yesterday, I pronounced it at 8.5 thousand subscribers. Yeah.
Right.
Truth be told, it's got 9,000 subscribers.
I have that.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I have that. Especially the difference between what my classic YouTube says to the
Yes.
better YouTube to my analytics app. All of them are different, and I'm not talking a one or two. I'm talking a gulf of difference.
Absolutely. So you know them, you know the things like it says here, 35 people are watching. That's garbage. Absolute garbage. Because when I finish the channel now, it'll say something like 150 views. And then I'll look in the analytics, it'll say 300 people still watching this. So what is it? Was it 150 show?
Yeah,
Was it like no, it says 35 people watching. So when I go back, probably I expect about 250 people watching the show from that
yeah.
35 watching there.
Oh, yeah. Well, I do think
Does
that.
that make sense?
Oh, well, that's the thing. It's like the analytics are wrong. So, for example, you see, I can come onto your stream.
Yeah.
Um, I know, get called by the wife, so I like stop it. Come back 30 seconds later,
Yeah.
reopen your stream again. That's classed as 2 views.
Can you repeat that again? Sorry.
So if I'm watching your stream, my
Yes.
wife calls me. I kind of like end your stream for a second. I go chat with her. I come back like 2 minutes later. I reopen your
Yeah.
stream. That's 2 views. They keep on doing it like that. So 35 people can see this, but if 35 people come out 3 or 4 times and go back in, that's coming up to like a couple of hundred. That's how YouTube does it. For me, it's like again with YouTube, and I love what they do, and with the new things that are coming out as well with the creator channel, which I do watch a lot of. I think that the analytics are so off. Certain things that they can do that they can improve on. We said about the trolls who just come to your videos just a thumbs down. For
Yeah.
me, if you block me for being a troll in your comment section, I should not be
Yeah.
allowed to hit your thumbs button after that. Thumbs up or thumbs down.
Absolutely.
I,
Absolutely.
and and I shouldn't be allowed to report you either. As in, I shouldn't be allowed to see you.
Absolutely. Totally agree with you. But what I do, I don't just block. I don't just block. I don't block them off the channel. I go onto their Google channel and block them off the Google channel as well.
Yeah.
So they don't have a chance,
Hmm.
you
Oh, I didn't
know.
know you could do
And
that.
you see, so, what the thing is, these people they can't help themselves because you see them on other people's chats
Hmm.
and they down on your channel and then they go on other people's channels and they do the same thing. They can't help themselves.
Yeah. 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 But don't you find though that they miss you because you see them talking about you on other people's streams, and if you drop a comment, suddenly, if you go back to an IFL video, you drop a comment, go back there an hour, you've got loads of people that you previously blocked having a go at you just for some attention.
Yeah. For you, what do you think has been your secret in terms of of being a fast growing channel in your opinion? I know you talked about the Dillian White thing. Do you think tags actually work?
No,
They
they
don't.
help. No, no. For a long time, I thought they did, but they help a little bit, but not really. For me, the more you put into your title and the more you put into your description helps. So, for example, there's plenty of people will go onto YouTube and type in Anthony Joshua, but yet your video could be about Wilder versus Tyson Fury,
Yeah.
and it's like a way to get them to have your channel pop up as a recommended, or your video is in the description. Say that Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury. It may or may not be on. So does this mean that this could possibly postpone Joshua in the future? You've got Joshua in your description. It then comes up on the search. You know, so you can kind of like trick the algorithms to a certain point.
But it's misleading though, isn't it?
It is, but you're not lying, if you see what I mean. So okay, so Moonsri, he's going for 51-0 on Tuesday.
Yeah.
So he's fighting that guy. I forget what it is, but obviously you'll put into like your title if you're going to do a fight review on it, Moonsri
Hmm.
versus whoever it may be, fight review. In your description,
Okay.
if he wins, Moonsri gets 51-0, beats Floyd Mayweather's record. You've got Floyd Mayweather in your description. So all these things help. So tags help to a point. I think they probably help on Google search, to be honest.
Yeah.
Thumbnail definitely helps. So I mean, I've noticed that sometimes if I do a thumbnail that I create myself, so I'll go into Paint or whatever,
Yeah.
make my own thumbnail for it, it don't do very well
Okay.
because it's not a HD professionally created thumbnail. But yeah, if I go onto
Okay.
Google Image and just copy a picture of Dillian White and put it as a thumbnail, that does great.
Yeah. Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I'm just trying to. I see my room. I don't know how we go. I'm going to see if I can bring World Breaker in. Hey, listen, I really appreciate you being in the chat with me and staying for as long and hanging with me. Um, I really am enjoying this. I hope you are enjoying it too. Those people who are chilling out and listening in. Ingram, equality of opportunity, not outcome. I've got somebody here that wants to rock with me now and start having a
Equality of opportunity, no outcome.
have a listen to have a read of some of that stuff there. Icon. While I just try and get World Breaker. Oh, keep going. Got an alert here.
Oh,
I'm hoping it's good news.
an alert? What on Twitter?
No,
YouTube.
this is on Google. Some sort of. I always get these alerts that come through.
Oh, okay. I never get alerts. I don't know how to figure things out. Do you find that YouTube changes a lot of things and you just don't know about it?
Yeah, this isn't YouTube. This is Google alerts. Anytime
Oh,
BWTM is up, somehow or the other, um, BWTM is in China. Don't ask me how it got to China. I don't know. Well,
okay.
yeah, it's on Chinese. It's written.
Oh, damn.
I don't
I
ask.
mean, I mean, to go back, so I mean, you're talking about like algorithms, how to get your
Yeah,
video recommended, so people at
yeah,
least give you a chance to click on it. I mean, there are plenty of ways that YouTube have done an excellent job of promoting your video if you know how to do it, but also they do see a lot of videos as spam,
yeah,
which is real unfortunate. I mean, I've had so many times. I mean, thankfully, I've won each time, but you know, they kind of like see it as a spam. So if you put, say, fight review and don't put the words "no footage," that's an
yeah,
issue. That's a real issue. You know, even though it's common knowledge that you cannot put footage on your channel.
yeah.
You know, but yet people still kind of like see that it is. So for the algorithms, I think it's definitely title for sure, definitely a thumbnail, that's 100%, and your description tags are probably the least important in my opinion.
Well, AC, I've sent you a Gmail email, so if you want to jump in there, you're more than welcome. Um, yeah, those things seem to help a lot. I do tag up. I tag up and I do put things in the description box.
Do you have the same tags
But then,
for each? Do you have the same tags for each video?
no, I put different tags for different
Oh
videos.
dear, I see. I don't. I have the same ones.
For every video,
Yep,
regardless.
yep. Well, I've got like what 10, 15. So for example, Anthony Joshua will be one.
Yeah,
Um, Matchroom Boxing will be another, as an example, or Boxing News will be another. So all
yeah,
these are, so as soon as I'm uploading a video, they're automatically there,
yeah,
and then I just add to them depending on the video.
yeah. I mean, I've seen people do it. Different tags. They'll put like Anthony Joshua, comma in brackets, boxer. Frank Bruno,
Mm.
so Mike Tyson, boxer.
No, that don't work.
And for some reason, their channel seems to get that. I don't know.
No. I mean, you see, I was always told that if you want to kind of like achieve, you know, kind of see what's worked, see what doesn't work, and whatever does work, make it your own. And that's pretty much how I do it. So, of course, I have seen what other channels have done with their tags, with their description. So, for example, you should always have in your tag boxing news because you're a boxing channel, or on your football one, football news, soccer news, so things like that. But I mean, the whole comma thing for me doesn't really work. I don't really know how they. Oh, sorry, comma creates the space for the next tag, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, mm, yeah. I mean, I
Aaron
don't
asked the
think.
question. Okay.
I mean, I don't think tags are that important. For a long time, I thought they were, and I prioritized most of my things into tags. I'm wondering why sometimes I put like a lot of effort into one video and not many views, or I'll just do a lapsidaisical one, just upload it just to get the news out there, and it does really well.
So then, what
And
about somebody who like if they're interviews I do with people that are not really known,
yeah, okay.
like
Well, so if you interviewed, say, Anthony Yard,
no, not Anthony, I'd use somebody who's not known, like a local gym,
okay, like a Cody
like a
Davis, for
local trainer.
example.
Who?
Okay, like a Cody Davis.
Horror Davis, you mean?
No, no, Cody Davis. He's a Welsh light heavyweight. He's had 5 fights. He's signed to Haymaker.
Okay. Go on.
Okay, so for me, I'd have him. And obviously, his name will be in the title. It'll be in the description. And I try and fill out the description as best I can, not go overkill on it. But, Cody Davis, who is signed with David Hay at Haymaker and Ringstar. So you've got all those words in your description.
Right.
Trained by Gavin Rees, that kind of thing. And if it's an exclusive interview, depending on the main topic of the subject of the interview, I'll probably put that. Cody Davis says, Wilder beats Joshua. Then for the tags, I'd have Cody Davis, I'd have Haymaker, I'd have Boxing News, I'd have interview with Cody Davis, for example, and the gym. Just anything that's kind of popular that could kind of get a few people to have a look at it. But unfortunately, it is the way of the world. People don't really care for grassroots too much, I don't think. I do, and I know you do. But people, I mean, if I went out there and interviewed a guy who's an amateur in my local gym here in Newcastle, I'll probably be lucky if I got 100 views.
What is Newcastle like as a place? I only got as far as Middlesbrough.
Oh, yeah, Middlesbrough's probably the wrong place in the world to stop. I wouldn't go there. No, it's nice. It's really, really good. I mean, for me, I was born here. I grew up down south near Milton Keynes. And, but I spent like a lot of time around some outskirts of London, little time in Enfield, places like that. But I come back, Enfield, yeah, Tottenham. So I come back to Newcastle 2 years ago, I think it is. And for me, I suppose home's where your hat is, isn't it? I mean, for me, I was born here, so I always felt the pull here. The seaside is only 20 minutes drive. The city is beautiful, especially at night. You've got everything here. And growing up down south, and you'll know this firsthand, everything's expensive. It's ridiculous. And, your price of wages down there compared to your price of living just about balances out if you're lucky.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you there.
I mean, I'll give you an example. So down south, my house, I've been in there for 12 years.
Right.
I had for a house that I bought. So I'm working, I'm paying the mortgage, all this kind of thing, over a 25-year mortgage. Then an opportunity comes up for redundancy. Now, I've been with this company for 18 years. So I knew that I was getting a mammoth payout if I accepted. So I accepted, I sold my house. And even without my redundancy, just by selling my house down there, I managed to buy the house that I have now, which is bigger, 3-bedroom house, cash in Newcastle.
Yeah, but in Newcastle, don't you have to worry about things like the adverse weather and crap that you wouldn't have in London?
No, not at all. That's actually a myth. You see,
Is
my
it?
wife, yeah. You see, my wife thought that as well. It's so cold up there because I think it's very close to Scotland, which is obviously, you've got like the Highlands, which is ridiculously cold. So it must be really cold here.
Yeah.
But no, there is kind of, although to be honest, since I moved here, I haven't seen so much sunshine for a long, long time. As in, we've had a very, very good summer here. And I think you guys have as well, because my mum still lives down south, and she says it's been pretty good.
I live literally, if I jumped out my window now and I took 30 steps, I'd be by the sea.
Really?
Yeah.
Bloody hell. So do you have
I'm
like
down.
problems with the weather because of the wind
No.
and?
Today we've had terrible weather.
Hmm.
It's been raining. So.
I mean, do you remember as a kid?
What's that?
And do you remember as a kid when it was summer, it was hot.
Yeah.
When it was winter, it was snowing. It was proper.
Yeah.
And we haven't had that in many, many years. But since I've moved back to Newcastle, I've been having that. I've been having a proper summer. When it snows, when it's winter, it snows. So there is exceptions to that for sure, but ultimately it's not as cold as what people think it is. It really isn't. Although for the first, I'll probably say about first 6 weeks I moved here, I couldn't get rid of a cold. So maybe I'm just adjusted to it. I don't know.
Somebody says the weather's the same all over the UK. That's not true. That's absolutely
no. I think the more near the Highlands you get, I think you notice.
Colder. And of course, Well, obviously, whoever said that has not travelled. Now down here, I've travelled. I've been here, and it's been warmer in Worthing,
Hmm.
and it's been colder in London. Can you believe that?
Really? Bloody hell.
Yeah. That make no sense.
No, no, it ain't. I mean, for sure, I think there's definitely some kind of climate thing going on right now. I think we're starting to see it, to be perfectly
In
honest.
Ireland, I used to fly from Ireland, Republic of Ireland,
Mm.
into UK. It'd be boiling hot in the UK, and they'd be going back to your Republic Island. It'd be raining and pouring with rain and freezing cold.
Bloody
In
hell.
the Republic of Ireland, we'd get hailstones, and felt like if somebody was actually chucking big stones at your window,
Bloody
and
hell.
the whole town would be out of power for like a day or two.
Damn.
Yeah,
Damn. Although, to
yeah,
be honest, though, I mean, I think the only real differences that I'm finding is socially, it's
yeah,
different down south as it is up north.
yeah. I think people are more friendly up north than they are down south.
That's what I was about to say. And my wife, obviously, like she's Moroccan Arab, so
Yeah,
she thinks that people up north, because obviously, like Scotland have like a bit of a reputation of being brash. So
yeah,
she would associate Newcastle and like the northeast as close to Scotland, so have the same mentality. And she was
yeah,
so surprised, pleasantly surprised, that everybody is so nice. They may look like they're a little pissed off at times, but they will always stop and say hello. Like
yeah. I
they'll always
think the,
hold the
the
door
mental.
open for you.
I was in Middlesbrough, and I tell you, I felt so loved out there when I was in Middlesbrough. So loved. Uh,
Yeah.
Spent about a week out. That was so lovely, so great. Really enjoyed the shopping and everything there. Um, Friendly in Devon, rate his friendliest accent. Okay, well, I'm going to come to Devon. I'm coming to Devon. I bet you better open your doors for me when I come, slotty girl, to Devon. Don't don't stand me up. On a serious note, I'm going to Leeds. This nice conversation actually to have with you. I could pick your
Yeah.
brain this Wednesday. If there's anybody from Leeds that live in Leeds, shout out to you. Yeah, I'm going to Leeds this week. I'm going there for a day and a night, spending some time there. I'm going to interview some fighters and go and see an old friend there.
Mm.
Now, I wonder sometimes because it's very easy, and I'm quite conscientious of our viewership. And what I often do is when I take my camera and I get myself kitted up and I get my suitcase and I sit on the coach at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning.
Hmm.
Um, I travel off, it's pitch black, and I take some pictures and put it on Instagram. But I think when I set my journey off, go, what do the boxing supporters want to see? What do the viewers want? What do they want to see? What would they want to see?
Sure.
Because I'm quite conscious of people just uploading content for views as opposed to what the viewers want.
Want, yeah.
I ask myself the question: I'm going to go to Leeds now. Do I just film um, the actual interviews and the gym, or do I do the whole build up? Me leaving my house, getting on the coach, traveling to London, going up to Leeds, walking around Leeds town centre, then going to the gym. What do you think?
I will probably do the whole caboodle, to be honest, purely because people love being nosy. What's Ingram doing? How did he get there? Did he stop into Burger King or did he go into McDonald's? People love that kind of thing. I don't know why people do. Vlogging a day in the life of is interesting for people. I don't know why it is, but it is.
It's
People
funny,
sit around and
funny
watch
you
Big
say
Brother.
that. It's funny you say that, but now I'm going to say it, and probably people will jump in now. I've got a series called Along the Coast,
Right?
and Along the Coast is on my Ingram Jones channel, and they'll see I've done 4 episodes where I go around my town, I go out by night time during the day, and people get to see a different side of me, or get to see me outside of this behind the camera sort of thing, or in front of the
Yeah.
camera, and they get to see my life out there. Now that channel, that I think is far more interesting than half the stuff I do on this channel. For
Hmm.
some reason, that gets
Because it's real rather than opinion. Boxing's opinion. There's facts, of course, but you doing what you do in your everyday life is real. There's no opinion there. There's no people can't hate on that, can they?
Oh hell, they can.
Really?
Oh hell, they can. Remember, I get the hate puts the hate button before the dislike button before you upload.
Really?
You know, I wish YouTube would tell you who's doing the hating. That's what I'd like to know.
Oh yeah, that'd be great. If it's like the same person over and over again, I think YouTube should be sending them a message saying, "Why do you do it for every single video on this channel?"
Yeah, should do it. Yeah. So,
Suspended.
you so you think that it should? You think I should film it then? Because like on the episode before last, I did a guy who was doing hip hop in the street.
Hmm.
I did him, and then the show before that, the episode before that, I had there were two girls. I was walking through town. I was saying how unfriendly or how unfriendly my town was, and then two girls crossed the road and started saying, "Oh, you're a vlogger, you're a vlogger." And then I brought them on the camera and started talking to them. So,
Mm. People
what do
love
you
that
think?
kind of people love that social interaction, and if you did it on a boxing channel, it takes you out of the seriousness because there's so many people look into boxing as serious, as if it like really affects them. And I do it myself. I mean, I'm guilty of it myself at times. So if you used to do something different, that stands you out. So I would certainly do it if it was me. I'll give you an example. I went down south. I dropped off my oldest son, and on the way back, my little boy's with me. He fell asleep. My wife stayed here in Newcastle, and it's quite a
Yeah,
long journey back. And we're driving back late. It's quite dark, and I thought that you know what, I don't really have time to go home, do an upload because I always feel bad if I don't do a video today. So I
yeah,
thought, as I'm driving, I'm just going to film where I'm driving, just for about like 20 minutes and then I will do the record on my phone, as in the self record, not video. And then
yeah,
when I get home, mash it together. So as I'm talking, people can see where it is that I'm driving to, and it's something different. And people responded well to it.
yeah. I think I want to do that because I just want to do something different again for the channel BWTM on the road. I think. Did you see the mini doc I did with on Peter Fury with Team Fury?
No, I haven't seen that one. Is that a new one?
You
That's
haven't
not a
seen
new
that?
one, is it? That's not a new one, is it?
Yeah, well, it was before he fought Sam Sexton.
Oh, okay, no, I haven't seen that
You
one.
haven't seen that? Did you see
No,
the Carson Jones documentary?
Carson Jones. No, no, I wouldn't do that. I've never been a fan.
Okay, it was behind the scenes with Carson Jones.
So how do you get all these in? Do you just like call up the gym? I mean,
No, good relations I've built over the years. And I'll say to Mark, I say, you know what, let's do something different. And I'm interviewing you over the telephone. Let's do something different. So now there's a huge opportunity coming up shortly, which isn't boxing, but it's a huge opportunity. I think fans would love it because it's got a historical. It's one of the. It's got a great historical side to it. So that's why I'm going to do it. But yeah, often I'll get emails. People that email me and say, "Would you like to do this?" Or I might say, "Okay, how are things? What's going on? Oh, do you want to come up? I'll come up and I'll do it."
yeah.
Or like for the Anthony Yard thing, people say, "Oh, you've been interviewing Tunde for so long. Why don't you go on?" So now, like for example, the Anthony Yard thing, I thought I'd get loads of views for the Anthony Yard interview. Anthony Yard, it wasn't that popular. But
Hmm.
that was the first time I'd gone to see Anthony Yard. If I do it again, I know I'll get better views from it.
Hmm.
You know?
Do you
Like
do you
now, so
send
it's the whole thing.
so when you do that interview with Anthony Yard, once you've finished editing it before you upload it,
Yeah.
okay, so you then upload it. Do you send the video to Twitter and copy in
Yes.
Yardy and his manager, trainer?
Yeah. Yeah. But you see, the
Do they
thing is,
retweet it?
you need them to retweet it.
Yeah.
Doing things like you don't know who's going to actually support it until you've uploaded it.
Hmm.
So, yeah, I'm going to probably set a new rule that people who don't retweet, we don't go back and interview them again.
Yeah.
It's an appreciation thing. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. You're giving them airtime. You're
Yeah,
spending your time to make them more popular.
yeah.
So therefore, they should at least have the courtesy to
Decency,
just click that retweet button.
and it's not much to do that. They don't do that, so I don't see why one
No.
should do that.
Oh, although while you're in Leeds, can you swing via Doncaster and get hold of Dave Allen again?
Doncaster, get on that small train over to Doncaster.
Yeah,
Yeah, Porky lives next door to Dave. And it's about, I think they live about 5 minutes between one another.
yeah. Or
Yeah,
Warrington.
I love. What's that?
Get hold of Warrington or Wade.
Well, I try to reach out with Warrington, but on his
Mm,
Twitter and his Instagram, but he never responded. So that's Warrington's loss. So,
yeah. Which is what I
but if
said to
I
you, earlier on in this chat here. I said that those who turn me down now won't get a chance in the future. So if I ever do become kind of popular and they reach out to me, they're just gonna get the middle finger. Where were you when I needed you?
yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. And I'll say the same thing about some of our supporters as well. Because, well, not even our supporters. They're people like they'll sit down and talk about mental health, and I'll say, "Oh yeah, Tyson Fury said it. If Tyson says it, it's okay. If you say it don't work." That kind of stuff I've got no time for whatsoever.
No, that's ridiculous.
You know. But and the other thing is, you know, people get things for free. So when people get things for free, they don't appreciate it.
Hmm.
So you know, the whole thing about paid membership is something that I will seriously look at in the future, even if it's
Hmm.
paid. People appreciate it more because they're paying for it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
You know, and that's how you tell if people really do support what you do.
yeah, that's
What are your
true.
thoughts on that?
No, I agree with all that. That paid membership. I think that's only available over in the US at the minute, isn't it?
Is it? I don't
And
know.
unless you here in the UK, I think you've got to have 100,000 subscribers to get it, or be a gaming channel.
Yeah, well, I'm a gaming channel, but they
Yeah.
shut the gaming channel down because it broke community policy. But I don't know what the community policy was that I broke.
Oh,
So
that is one of the
YouTube
things
don't go
about
to it.
YouTube. Sometimes is that they don't explain things.
No, they
They just
don't.
expect you,
They just
they expect you to just figure it out yourself.
they make their own rules and regulation. I don't give a crap. I do my gaming on my Ingram Jones channel now, so that's fine. I enjoy my
Yeah.
Ingram. I just get to do whatever, say whatever I want on the channel, and it's quite fun. Um, so as we're about to bring this to a close, is there anything
Yep.
um in your thoughts? And when you before you came on the channel, what were your thoughts about BWTM, and have they changed since being on the channel tonight?
No, I think that you're far more. No, actually, no. I was about to say that you're far more engaging, as in open chat. But no, I already knew that anyway. So no, you're great. I've always been a fan of you guys. So fantastic stuff. And I hope everybody in the chat has at a bare minimum click that thumbs up for that. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so.
Now you're going to have to invite me over to your channel now because you've been in my house. I need to come to your house and meet
Oh,
your
of course,
followers.
of course, no worries.
So yeah,
Although to
do
be
you have a
honest, I
fun?
mean, I've been very, very lazy with live streaming lately. I used to do it regularly.
Yeah,
Now it's a case of it's like I get my little boy to bed and I sit down. I think, should I go live? And then before you know it, I'm asleep. So it's like the only time I kind of like do it is when I agree to it. So for example, like you invite me, Hitman Boxing will invite me, Kiwi Box. Like so many people will invite me. If I commit myself to say yes, then I'm doing a live stream.
yeah. Wow, 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 wow.
I'm so lazy with it.
I think I have to continue my tour of the YouTubes and keep that record off of being the what they call it, the king of the crossovers. Do that.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
definitely.
I have to keep doing these crossovers. I've enjoyed it. Sporting icons. I hope that it's answered some questions to some people. We really did talk um, about some real deep conversations. It wasn't just boxing. In fact,
Yeah,
we didn't talk too much about too many fighters as such, but we really talked about some real social issues in society, which is really interesting.
yeah, I
It
agree.
has
I mean,
indeed.
so usually when I do a live stream, some of the people like a We Degree and Bad Guy London will know we end up starting off with boxing and then spending like the last hour talking about 80s movies. I don't know quite how it gets there, but we do go around the world. So I'm glad that you do that as well. It's like you kind of like help me guide and push me to around the world. So it's good.
Yeah, it's great. So, guys, as we finish, by the way, if there's anybody who's going to be Leeds this week between Wednesday and Thursday, let me know. I really appreciate it. You know, but just to close off, again, thank you so much to Sporting Icons for being on the channel.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, brother. I really do. And yeah, let's not look at what separates us. That's what they want us to do, to look at what separates us. Let's look at the things
Absolutely.
together and the things that bring us together. We both love the sport of boxing. We might not agree on our pound for pound top five, or we might not agree on who the best fighter in the world is. But the best way to answer that usually is by two guys getting in the ring and fighting.
Absolutely.
Ultimately, let's focus on the things that keep us together and the things that keep us sane. We're both on the same. We're both on YouTube. We both love the sport of boxing, and we both give good quality content for you, the viewer, to watch. Thank you all so much for supporting us both tonight. Whether you're a Sporting Icons fan or you're a hater of Sporting Icons, I hope tonight this is you. Maybe change your opinion on who's Sporting Icons, and maybe open your eyes as to who I am. I don't know, but
Yeah.
both of us, we would like to thank you so much for joining us, and for the most part, hanging around till 4 a.m. in the morning.
Damn, is that what it is?
It was long. It was long.
Yeah. Well, again,
Thank
thank
you
you
so
very
much.
much, Ingram. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. I look forward to my invite.
Definitely.
And if you're in Leeds, I look forward to seeing you soon. And if you're in Devon, Slotty Girl, I want to invite. I'm coming up. And I'm bringing my camera with me. I'll see you soon.
Good night.
Good night.